fungovať správne. Dúfam, že som to všetko pofixoval teraz nejakým túto dôvodom a dúfam, že všetko teda bude už fungovať. Vyzerá, že ten zvuk je správny. Poďme do 13. minúty, teda naspäť, ospravedlňujem sa na tejto technické problémy, ale netuším, čo to malo byť. Bola normálne chyba Matrixu, alebo respektíve nejaký bug v OBS-ku, očividne, pretože v OBS-ku mi to proste dávalo ten zvuk, aj keď som nemal nič iné zapnuté, ale to nevadí. Watson teraz síce získal double kill, tam prišli 3 killy pre Cloud9, počkať. Tu sa akoby musím teraz obudiť úplne neplne, som sa nedíval na tú poslednú minútu a tu sa to akoby zomrelo celku dosť intenzívne. Cloud9 začínajú byť očividne online, natlačili sa na ten middle, zobrali tam 3 veľké killy. Watson si odtiaľ hlavne odniesol s tou Eclipsou tučný double, dobre. Cloud9 začali hrať očividne nejakú poriadnu tučnú Dotu 2. Stále je to počuť? Nie je to počuť. Je to už úplne v pohode, chat. To sú akoby zvuky normálne z tej hry. To už sú zvuky z hry. To sú už zvuky z hry, chat. Už je to všetko proste fixlé, nerobte tu akoby hovadiny, to tu džebejtíte nás za srandy, mám to tu pekne, krásne, funkčné. A teraz je tu samozrejme ten replay, kde sa môžeme pozrieť na to, čo sa tam akoby predtým stalo, tam očividne prišla akurát vypínačka na skittera, tu proste prišiel Watson to čistiť sám. Ale medzi tým DM bude vychytaný na druhej strane mapy, Falconovci schopný aj takto ísť otočiť ešte do samotného Fishmana, ten sa im bude snažiť vyportiť chlapec a to stihol dobre. Každopádne mi doba tier jednotka bude pre Falconov on the taking tentokrát. No, vyzerá, že tam už majú dokonca aj ten mekáč, vyzerá, že na Oliverovi to bude ten istý build, ktorý sme videli aj naposledy. No, medzi tým, ale Watson sa teraz ukáže akurát na chvíľku na tope, tam už mierí celá skvadra Falconov, aby ho prišli chlapca pozdraviť, ten predtým mal double kill, pôjde sa skúsiť schovať, Watson to stihol. No, tam mal Euli akurát Amárovič, no, žiadny cancel sa tentokrát nestane. Ja vás tu všetkých ale ešte raz vítam, chat, pretože aj keď som to teda musel resetovať, aj keď to tam teda bolo nejak divne bugnuté, ja neviem akoby, čo sa tam fakt ako reálne ani stalo. Teraz sa môžeme pozrieť na to, ako bude hantený akurát chudák Sneaking zase s tou jeho panienčkou. Vyzerá, že už to môže byť celku free žrádlo pre Team Cloud9. Za chvíľku teda dokončený celý ten Mage Slayer u Olivera, tentokrát ale sú Cloud9 na tom oveľa krajšie a ten hitly game zvládli podľa mňa. No, zase vyzerá, že teraz sa Oliver akurát možno tou bránou pôjde vyhnúť nejakému agresívnemu rotationu, tam už sú natlačení C9, dole pôjdu po tú tier jednotku, ešte predsa len ani jednu vežičku nepušli. No, oproti teda Falconovcom, ktoré už všetky 3 tier jednotky majú za sebou, majú tu akoby dosť priestoru na to, ako pofarmiť. Uvidíme ale, či tá Watsonova Luna bude stačiť na nejaké to poriadne 1v9. Naposledy ten Terror Blade ani zďaleka nestačil Luna. Je podľa mňa ale jednoznačne to S-tier carry, ktoré to môže roztrať vždycky. No, teda bude mať aj damáž. Peter mi žiadne divné zvuky neslyšeli, ale chat, dobrý. Už sa tu zase akoby ukludníme, jo? Tam bol nejaký ako divný technický problémíček, ty vole, ktorý mi tu normálne... skoro rozpleskal hlavu. Na mne najvtipnejšie bolo, že som tam akoby vypisoval ty vole hlavnému adminovi PGL, ty vole, že čo sú tam za zvuky a ako proste, a ešte som to kontroloval, že som to pauzol, že či to ako je to a chat, pohode, jo, nebudem vyzerať úplne najinteligentnejšie teraz, ale je to v tajku. Po 16. minúte, dajte si všetci F5, samozrejme, aby vám to tu všetko fungírovalo. No a dúfam, že teraz už sa všetci usadíme, dúfam, že sa nám tu teda naplne akoby všetci ľudia, čo tu boli, samozrejme, že nám tu ten view count trošku ako klesol tým pádom, tým resetom, ako ne, že ne. A dúfam, že všetci budú teraz schopní to tu akurát nahodiť, možno ako by tam niekto prešiel akurát rýchlo na main, keď tam boli nejaké tie technické problémy, čo samozrejme akoby pekne chápem, ale pred 17 minútou už sme tu fully ready sa sústrediť na to, čo sa tu deje. No, Skitter medzi tým už má ten svoj základ, teraz vyzerá, že nepotrebuje tak rýchlu forsku, ale pôjde rovno teda do toho Dragulencu z prvej. Na Malrinovi máme teda dokončený akurát ten Agany, mohol by to byť už nezabiteľný chlapák, ale hookshot, ten prechystali zase na chudáka Kryta, ten vyfarmil znova 2 kogy, tu Kúky dáva až teraz momentálne a bude bohužiaľ vypnutý aj tak. No, vyzerá to, že tuto po 17. minúte fakt ako Kryt tentokrát. Je mu jasné, že tam niekde asi pravdepodobne teda musí byť Vision, vyzerá, že Novanovci teraz si pôjdu doraziť aj tú midovú. Tier jednotku k tomu, jeden objektív za druhým, už tam bude mať za chvíľku tá Luna aj celú mantu. Ten scaling by mal byť samozrejme od Luny, ale oveľa brutálnejší ako od Oliverovho Dragonite, ktorý tam predsa len začal skôr s tou aktívnou blinkou. Tentokrát to Cloud9 ustávajú a hlavne popravde tá Winter Wyverna je pre nich ten X-faktor. Vyzerá, že Oliver už tu chce ísť, ale sa tam tu niečo na tej spodnej strane, prichádza tu celá skvadra Falconov. Ja myslím, že tam dole na chvíľku zahliadli akorát samotného Watsona, možno vedia, že tam práve nebude v tom fajte, tak tu pôjdu skúsiť niečo, setup okolo tej 18-kovej runy, bude to Maureen, ktorý si tam zoberie nakoniec len Illusion runu. To bude celé. Ajajajajaj. Ja dúfam, že už aj Twitch, aj všetko sa tu pomalinky ako zregeneruje, dúfam, že mi zamávate a napíšete mi tam jeden poriadny smiley face. Jo, máme už akoby všetko pekne pofixované, všetko nám tu funguje správne. A po 18. minúte Oliver teraz má dobrý nápady zahantiť tesne. Im DM stihol ale tentokrát uportiť. No, majú tam ten dobrý deep vision nachystaný predsa len Falconi, ale tentokrát sa im tu nedarí akoby žiadne veľké pick-offy získavať. Čas je získaný pre Watsona, už len mu chýba reálne k dokonalosti, veď je to BKB. A reálne C9 budú fully online. Jo, tu sa ako Falconi ale furt presúvajú zo spodnej strany dole. Tu budú ale obidvaja vidieť pod Vardou. Teraz tam Cloud9 presne vedia, akoby kto sa tu dole momentálne nachádza. Watson zatiaľ tam ale aj tak tvrdohlavo pôjde pofarmiť nejaké tie kempy, tam sa hlavne presúva celá tá skvadra C9 ešte v smoku. Tuto bude možno problém, tie Illusion runy tam teraz prídu spolu s jedným žaluďom od sneakinga depušovať. Vyzerá, že si tam Falconi uvedomujú, že tu možno príde nejaký poriadny pressure, Oliver medzi tým bude teda dofarmovať akurát nejakú tú hurricane pajku pomaly. Je ale vidieť, že sa tá Luna ale dosť intenzívne vzdialuje. Jo, Watson túto hru fakt ako bude brutálne carry, aj keď proti nemu ten Timber, ten Marzík, takisto budú problémoví. Jakmile tam bude mať to BKB, tak to možno nebude tak veľký problém Oliver tu, ale prišiel setupnúť Kataomiho a ten dostal totálny vypínák. Mortimer z Kistis ešte prídu dozadu DM. Tam má síce ten Bloodstone, zahral sa teraz na nejakého pána Freeho, na greedy boja, aby tentokrát mal hru. Ale medzi tým Fishman tam chcel trafiť neutral camp, aby si zachránil prdel. Otočka tu ale práve príde do Maurina. Dobre, to C9 vymysleli. Oh, no one. Nádherný setup. S Watsonovou Eclipsou tam mali dostatočný burst, aby tam nezapol ani ten Naganim, aby proste zabili ten veľký kill. Oliver teraz ale vyzerá, že by tu možno akoby DM išiel teda nenápadne pozdraviť ten už, ale s Bloodstoneou nie. Tak jednoduchý kill, ako bol možno minulú hru. Tu vyzerá, že po 20. minúte Cloud9, aj keď majú dokonca ukoristený ten gold lead, je samozrejme jasné, že tá Luna sa tam bude ako eskalovať. No vyzerá, že zase ten kill na Maurina, im to tam proste teraz úplne nádherne setupne, tam potrebuje už mať Watson iba 1600 goldov. Oh god. A bude tam celé to BKB. Jo, no one tým, že to už takisto má tú najväčšiu nutnosť, majú akoby C9 za sebou, teraz si po 20 minúte rovno môžu ísť zobrať aj toho Tormentríčka k tomu. Jo, zrovna Free Shard aj pre toho Kloka na nejaký ten jetpack, ale hlavne pre Kataomiča na ten akoby free nuke po Cold Embrace, to je nádhera. Každopádne dostane to tentokrát teda Fishman. Zatiaľ teda s Pevajsom navíc. Amar túto hru hlavne urobil Eul into Pipe build. Oliver je zase na hante a niečo našiel. Amar tu pripraví akurát rovno arénu, spíru, kombo, vombo, rombo, hombo. Ešte sa tam Oliver pekne prichystal tam, kde by chcel DM zdrhať dokonalý game sense. Tu Falconi budú mať a zase si po DM a prišli ten chlapec, môže mať kľudne Bloodstone, môže mať toho kľudne viac. Tu ale vyzerá, že Oliver ešte vidí, že tu niekto ešte ďalší bol, vidí tam ešte Fishmana, ten sa preletel, ale dostane ten stun aj tak. Fishman to mohol preletieť rovno, trošku zahol, dostane tam ešte ten Cold Embrace. Vyzerá, že Kataomi tam síce chcel ešte možno niečo zachraňovať, ale Fishman už je zabitý na Maurina. To ani nemôžu do toho Aganimu samozrejme ani skúsiť teraz momentálne otočiť. Predtým ho bursli, kým tam ten Agarim popol. Teraz ale po 21. minúte sa tu Oliver síce bez formy, ale za 5 sekúnd môže natlačiť kľudne k tej tier 2, ak tam budú chcieť zostávať stále. Tam majú 10 sekúnd času, kým tam nebude predsa len ten Sand King, takisto s tou Bloodstoneových tam možno neprekvapí nejakým tým úplne obrovským jumpom. No vyzerá, že no one to ale pôjde to skúsiť punishnúť. Oliver už je ale one step ahead. Už stihne vyblinkovať bez problémov. A oj. 22. minútou teda na mide sa ukazuje sneaking, ktorý je ak pofarmí tieto dva creepy, pravdepodobne o to bude stať život, na stine to s impetusom Pohoda, Chill a Jazzík. No, z Watsona sa ale stáva čím ďalej, tým viac. To 1v9 carry. C9 teraz dávajú všetci smoke aj s ním. Je tu ten najväčší BKB timing, ale Falconovci medzi tým sa prídu pekne schovať akurát do svojho Tormentra, prídu tam vyfarmiť takisto buď kritovi alebo sneakingovi shardu. Jeho sneaking bude mať pekne svoj sprowing navíc. A tiež sa z neho stane tým impetusmi podľa mňa dosť intenzívny damage dealer. Jo, do toho Maureen zatiaľ síce akoby ako defenzívu tam viac menej slúži ten jeho agáč. Ja už tam ale za 800 goldov takisto aj on bude mať akoby minimálne to BKB, tým pádom to nebude tak zraniteľný na všetky tie magic damage, ktoré tam C9 majú. Oni reálne majú len magic damage, jo, preto tam Amaru robil tak rýchlo tú pipu aj na Marsovi, preskočil nejakú tú blinku sám, jo, pretože tam je len magic damage, aj tá Luna teraz akoby momentálne s tou Eclipsou akoby väčšinu burst damage bude mať práve magic. Jo, ten right click samozrejme sa tam ako začne už dosť intenzívne dostávať do toho. Je jasné, že Oliver tuto akoby bude behind, ale na tie fighty to tam Falconi držia absolútne ako even, dokonca tam majú 1k lead ešte nachystaný. Zase tam C9 teraz neprichystali úplne ten timing, ten smoke na nič. Vezmere si tam nachystali akurát jednu vardu a to je celé, teraz sa tam idú presunúť dole, ale práve na toho Roša. Pôjdu tradovať práve tú vrchnú tier 2, Falconovci, tí nakoniec si to zoberú len tak, ale ten Rošan je možno trochu podstatnejší. No, tam predsa len tá Luna, keď bude svietiť s 2 životmi, to môže byť pre Falconovcov problém, možno im to ale nevadí absolútne. Miesto toho si možno pôjdu vytradovať akurát nejaké 2 tier 2. A popravde Cloud9 to celku trvá, kým toho Rošana zničia. Tam tu ako Falconovci môžu pomaly fakt ako tú tier 2 stihnúť roztrhať, tam je síce ešte ten druhý glyph, oni ho dajú, ale tam není žiadny glyph na high ground, keď tak, teraz momentálne. Jo, takže Cloud9 je trošku akoby vabang momentálne, kde jo, budú mať ten Aegis. Jo, ale ztratili tam medvené vrchnú väžu, do toho 2 glyfy, jo, midová väža je tam teraz ako exposed. Ale je jasné, že Falconovci teraz budú musieť akoby samozrejme obozretne pozerať, čo sa tu deje tou Vardou. Tam vidia, ale kde sa teraz presunul Watson spolu s Novanom. Majú všetky informácie, dokonca si sami dávajú smoke. Oni to idú ešte prekvapiť. O, Falconovci, oni idú rovno tuto prekvapiť Watsona, ten si myslí, že bude klikať na creepy, ne? Oni ho nakoniec na schvál obišli. Oni pôjdu po Novana. Oj, Oliver je tam. Oj. Už nám náš Ojo slovenský pripravil easiest pick-up of his life. Pred 25. bez problémov. Oh god. Povedal by som, že tu akoby zase Oliver ukazuje, aký dokáže byť neskutočný iniciátor pre ten tým. Jedno z mála carryčiek, ktoré síce to není takéto 1v9 carry, taký ten 4 protect 1. To skôr pôjdu hlavne C9. Ale teraz aj keď majú ten Aegis, tu je proste vidieť, že len dobrým map awarenessom. Akoby Falconovci momentálne síce sú pod Vardou, o ktorom nevedia. Za 10 sekúnd sa bude spawnovať Novan, vyzerá, že tu tier 2, ale by mohli akoby bez toho chýbajúceho glyfu proste uhľadať možno aj tak. C9 sú tu ale absolútne všetci. No tu si Falconovci podľa mňa musia uvedomiť sami, že tu akoby nechcú možno úplne plne zostávať zase. Pôjdu získavať čas, zase to pôjdu úplne celé rozdeliť znova C9. Jo, nevedia za posledné 3-4 minúty. Tak ako nájsť nič, našli tam akorát povedzme ten Aegis aj tak. Jo, tam midová tier 2 tam ako za chvíľku dohlodaná bude, keď tam budú môcť komitnúť. Jo, Hurricane Pajka celá dostávaná ešte k tomu na sneakingovi. Jo, do toho tým pádom už tie kogy a takéto podobné záležitosti nebudú možno úplne tak efektívne. Uvidíme, čo tu ale C9 budú schopní tentokrát nájsť. Ten hlavný je samozrejme Watson, ktorý tam ešte 3 minúty bude mať 2 životy. Ja, už tam má dokonca aj filektery pekne ušetrené. No, Oliver medzi tým sa pôjde akorát teda pre istotu schovávať. Amar tam bol chvíľku vidieť na tej creep wave. Tam dokonca schoval aj tú pipu, aby nebol vidieť a stíne odportiť. Schovanie tej pipy. Tak si to tam prehadzuje akorát, aby tam tých creepoch nebola vidieť tá aura, že tam niekde akoby v okolí je. To sú také tie cute little things, ktoré robia rozdiel. Aj to, že sa schoval teraz za ten strom a odportil veľmi tesne. Toto je zase ďalší získaný čas, minútu po minúte. Jo, tam viac menej absolútne. Jo, proste tu akoby momentálne proste padá ten čas na tom Aegise a C9 reálne ešte nič s tým neurobili. Že sa ani nedostali na enemy stranu mapy, to si teraz si tam Watson akurát konečne získa aspoň tier jednotku, that's it. Jo, zostávajú tam teda ale tie 2 minúty a vyzerá, že dole už samozrejme sneaking teda nenapadne, dokonca depušuje iba nejakými tými skeletoníkmi a tým Dark Troll Summonerom. Jo, zase, proste, jakmile vidia niekde Watsona, tak to pôjdu instantne Falconovci akorát otočiť na tú druhú stranu mapy. Tam práve chcú ísť nájsť možno DM a ojojoj, ten dostane Jul, ten bude mať setupnutú tvár, ten dostane Spíru teda dosť divne momentálne a tým pádom bude môcť odísť. Tam sa zasekol na tom divnom akoby klife, jo, a nakoniec to nedalo úplne dozadu tej arény. Toto je akoby nakoniec túto terén a Ice Frog možno trošičku ako pomohol chlapcovi DM-ovskému. Nakoniec neskončil úplne na hrote tej celej arény. Dopadne po 27 minúte mierny OS Frog nám tu teda nastal. No a tu, aj keď vieme, ako to teda Amar myslel, konečne sa tu Cloud9 môžu proste nasáčkovať k jednej tier 2. Tu príde ten glyph samozrejme, a aby to o 7 sekúnd teda trochu spomalili, Sneaking tu medzi tým pôjde ale solovať Fishmana. Dokonale to Amar pripravil, už využil ten terén, už využil ten OS Frog efekt. No ale medzi tým dole, no aj keď to tam akoby samozrejme Watson teda dopušuje už konečne. Jo, tam medzi tým na mide pôjdu ako Amarovci očividne akurát nenápadne vypušovať tú tier 2 tiež, ten Aegis bude končiť za minútu. 30 sekúnd tam nebude Fishman, keď sa bude môcť ešte buybacknúť. Zatiaľ Falconi hrajú neskutočne krásne mapu, neskutočne krásne makrogame. Teraz tam nemajú už tú formu na Oliverovi, to by mohla byť zraniteľná chvíľka. Nakoniec mu tam kopnú jednu na tvár. No ale vyzerá, že Oliver nebude teda úplne greedy boy, nebude tam zostávať po tú väžu, nechajú to tam akurát nahlodané. Celá kanda prichádza ale Watsonovi. No, počkať, no one tu ale sa to povedme úplne celý ten backline, keď tam bude tým pádom vychytaný. Tam sa nemá odtiaľ, ale ani ako dostať nikto, ani Oliver. Amar to tu pekne síce zastavili jedným eulom, do toho bude Sneaking nachystaný ešte akurát týmto celým. No DM tam pôjde ešte epicentrom zabiť túto enčku, to bolo možno neúplne nutné. Hlavne proste odišiel Oliver, to bolo to podstatné. Amar tam zachránil teraz prdel ešte Oliverovi, ktorý tam predsa len nemá nejaké to poriadne BKB. Jo, teraz ako OK, Watson teda využije aspoň ten posledný čas, aby tam aj ďalšiu tier 2 zobral. Ďalej to chcú rozťahovať. Amar, on netrafí Neul. On to trafil akurát na toho samotného creepa, môže to tam pripraviť aj tak, ale či budú mať kľúci dosť damage, to je tá otázka majú. Amar môže kľudne dávať Euly na creepy, ale aj tak tam Oliver zase nachystal dokonalosť. Našťastie Oliver to do creepa netrafil. Ten to trafil pekne poctivo. No vyzerá, že po 29. minúte čiste sú tu zase Cloud9 proste rozťahovaní po mape. Jo, reálne. Ojojoj. Fú. A pred 30 minútou teda Shiva bude dokončená za 700 goldov pre Maurina, ďalšie ako mínus attack speed minimálne na tú Lunu, ale hlavne aj potom ako mínus healing, keby sa dostala k nejakému tomu poriadnemu sataniku, takisto ani tie healy z toho Cold Embraceu toho moc neurobia. Tu ale tá Luna je fakt ako vo full online móde, jo, Watson je fucking scary momentálne. Teda Luna má 21,5 tisíca networth, každý ten jej Lucen beam bude dávať bomby. Teraz sa tam Falconi nenápadne síce schovali v tom smoku, C9, ale majú akoby grasp na to, čo sa tu teda momentálne bude diať. Hasty majú nachystané dokonca na Novanovi, ten bude mať očividne o niečo neskôr trošku tú Shivu ako na druhej strane Maurin. Tu sa Novan ale ukáže na tom mide. Aby tam vyfarmil toho jedného krepáša. Ten vyzerá, že to tam chce možno jabbaitnúť, za ním tam stojí síce Kataomi, ale nikto ďalší. Tam môže prísť Winterkurza, ale bohužiaľ too late, bro. Amar, dokonca môžeme prísť ešte po Kataomiho, tu nakoniec tam ani C9 nie sú všetci. Oni sú v trojici dole, tam táto dvojica, neviem čo teraz momentálne chcela teda odskúšať. Možno neočakávali, že tu Falconi budú teraz schovaní. Ale tí tam boli schovaní dokonale a zase budú ukazovať, že ten makrogame je úplne na absolútne inom leveli. C9 majú teraz síce online carry, ale nevedia do tej hry úplne zapojiť. Falconovci im tu nenechávajú ani jeden jediný fight. No, teraz to tu zabijú dokonca aj bez toho, aby tam mali nejakého poriadneho creepa. Falconovci dokonca idú na high ground. Jo, tam vyzerá, že to enemy carry bude možno absolútne nezastaviteľné, ale Skitter to rovno pôjde rozbehnúť práve do vodca. Stihol tentokrát zaplniť aspoň to BKB, Clip toto pôjde otočiť, Oliver tam ale bude mať pripravené to backup, odíde preč. Zase tam vydžebaitili Falconi všetko. Watson s tým obrovským networkom neurobil nič. Oliver mu to teraz vysvetlil rovno po porte, že takto sa do báze neportí. Watson tam smutne môže len a len čumeť bázy. Ale minimálne teraz Falconi samozrejme vedia, že tam budú musieť prísť akurát resetom. Tam dokonca s tým Big Bada Boomom ešte tam zabili aj toho Clockwerka k tomu. Watson, ten hľadá miesto, ten má network, aby to tam rozsekal sám. Ale proste tu ho skiterovci nepustia. Krásny kontrol a vždycky je to popravde Oliver, ktorý to tu setupuje celé. Pre 32 minútou ten hlavný damage dealer je samozrejme práve mal Rínek. A aj s tým burzem, Budúcovým samozrejme s tou Shivou, tam sa aj tá Luna ako bude rozplývať. Ja tentokrát tam stihol zapliť predsa len to BKB, tentokrát si tam Cloud9, až tomu vyfarmili ten ďalší shard, tentokrát pre No One. DM. Ten ale túto hru za toho senda, ako tým, že začal s tým Bloodstoneom, tak scaluje lepšie. Stále na tom nie je úplne ako jeden z najlepších, to ani ako zďaleka, ale je tam bezbenej na tom ako even s Amarom. Čiže ako ten Sand King by mal mať podľa mňa ako viac, už ako by túto 32 minútu ako zrovna Marzíček. ale well. Hra je 22-14, rozohraná dobre. Kryt tu medzi tým nenápadne s iluskami, pôjde akurát depušovať mimo rangeu, mimo nebezpečia. Na vrchu, že myslím, že armáda práve zase od Dark Troll Summonera od Angeky, ak sa nemýlim. Tam iba z minimapy odhadujem, ale myslím si, že tam akoby zase musí proste niekto od Cloud9 prísť na def. Jo, Falconovcov tu medzi tým čaká easy objective v podobe Tormentra, jo, rovno sa pôjdu o to postarať. Hlavne Sneaking už má BKbo, ten blázen. On už má BKbo na Angeke. On má Hurricane Pajku, celé BKB, teraz si ešte urobí druhý v raid ban na Valiu, pretože akoby po 25. minúte tam akoby bude mať bonus. No a zrazu akoby tam potrebujú Falconi reálne teraz len jabaitnúť ten Eclipse BKB na Lune. A zrazu akoby celý ten gameplan od Cloud9 nefunguje, oni tam potrebujú nejakú mega winterkurzu, oni potrebujú s epicentrom to tam rozbehnúť celé. Jo, ale vždycky je to práve slovenský brinzový halušník, ktorý to tu momentálne trhá. A setupuje každý jeden fight. Jo, v networte tam samozrejme nebude Oliver teda úplne svietiť, akoby s tým Dragonitom, s týmto buildom niekde v popredí. Ale vyzerá, že Falconi zase pôjdu urobiť ten proaktívny move ako prvý. Ako vyzerá, že z Cloud9 sa pôjdu ale všetci teda takisto v smoku presunúť na vrch. Vyzerá, že DM sa presunul jediný do báze, aby tam teda prišiel vydefovať. Jo, tu ale Roshan sa spavne za 40 sekúnd a bude to stále ešte na tej Radiant strane. Fishman nakoniec tam ide naspäť. Vyzerá, že počkať. Tam sa celý tým Cloud9 vracia naspäť. Oj, moment. Toto môže byť ešte dosť veľká šlamastika DM. Tam bude síce oddelený od týmu, ale Sneaking sa tu takisto nenachádza. Tam videli na chvíľku práve Kryta. Tá raketka ho teraz neuvidela, Watson už ho tam čakal, ale Kryt sa odtiaľ dostal. Oliver ale už takisto vie, že tam niekto musí byť a Maureen rovno ide odhaliť práve Watsona. Stratil momentálne polovičku HPček na tej Lune, len tak, len na Maureena. Tam ide sám, 1v13 a Oliver to stihol včas. Winterkurza prišla, ale Watson je dole. Oliver to zase stihol. Maureen to prichystal a Watson neurobil nič. Ja sa pýtam, kde je ten carry difference, pretože ja ho nevidím. Vidím ho, ale na strane Olivera. A nie je tak, ako to bolo spomenuté u Astiniho. Watson, ten môže mať MMR trošku vyššie, ale myslím si, že teraz cíti, že 60 sekúnd. Falconovci môžu ísť rozhodnúť celú tú sériu Amar. A príde ešte setupnúť aj DMA, rovno do Spíry, rovno do stromečku. Tam prichádza už pomaly, ale isto Oliver, aby mu to vysvetlil DM. Ten nepôjde nikde. Ten nepôjde nikde. Sneaking si zobere ten kill, tam hlavne není 80 sekúnd ani buyback. Tam ako získal povedzme trochu času, aby sa to Luna možno spavnala, ale to sa nedostala k tomu, aby tam popla ani jeden jediný spell. Proste Maureen prišiel. Najprv to Oliver odhalil tým, že tam ako niekto je v tom smoku, otočil sa. Maureen rovno za Garimom tam nabehol, vie, že tam nie je nullifier, vie, že tam nie je proste žiadna odpoveď na ten hagáč. Tu proste nemajú Cloud9 odpovede. No ten makro game a to hranie mapy, tá iniciačná Dota 2, to funguje pre Team Falcons. A vyzerá, že po 35. minúte tu môžu ísť toto celé rozhodnúť. 13 sekúnd a bude tam ešte predsa len tá Luna. Ešte to nemajú Cloud9 úplne prehrané. Tam Oliver hlavne predtým akoby pekne dal aj to BKB pri tom jumpe, takže vezmený tá Winterkurza tam neurobila nič obrovské. A celkovo aj keď tu Cloud9 došli s takýmito ich typickými pikmi. Jo, sú to tým, ktorí majú fakt ako najmenší hero pool pomaly ako z celého TI, myslím, zo všetkých 16 tímov. Tu akoby je jasné, že proste bohužiaľ možno už ako nestačí nejaká Winter Wyvernička ako bonus. Ja, o túto hru tam Kataomi ani není úplne plne vidieť, aj keď v tých hrách, kde vyhrávali Cloud9 s tým, svietil neskutočne. A tu už si môžu samozrejme teraz Falconi akurát nakráčať možno po toho Roshana, ale Cloud9 to nenechajú len tak. I už tam idú všetci smoku, čakajú tam ešte poctivo na DM-a. Falconovci teraz ale majú tam pripravený ten scan. Ak sa tam prejdú Cloud9 okolo, to budú rovno vidieť. Ten scan akurát skončil. On skončil presne v tej sekunde, keď to prebiehali. Cloud9 tam môžu teraz prekvapiť. O tom to nevedia. Maureen tam ale stojí zase dokonale. Majú tam aj tú vardu, už tam uvidia Novana. Ten tam pôjde zase narolovať, tentokrát chce on iniciovať. Ale Maureen si zase našiel tentokrát Fishmana ako prvého. Ten pôjde skúsiť jetpackom odísť, ale myslím, že 3 hity od Sneakinga to vyriešia. Buyback od Fishmana tam bude. Novan tentokrát si ho zapnúť aspoň to PK, bo Falconovci zase ale to pôjdu len resetnúť. zapnúť. Jo, Maorin tam ale bude teraz fokusovaný vzadu, tentokrát zase zapne to backup, Watson už stihol zapnúť aspoň tú Eclipsu, to je pekné. Ale tu príde combo od Amara, neskutočná arena double speara. Tak toto bola pure cinema. Ale po 37 minúte tá cinema ešte bude pokračovať, nebude tam predsa len ten set kick. Winterkurza teraz prišla síce na 3. Oliver dokonale vyblokoval tým jumpom, aby no one neodišiel nikde. Môže mať síce buyback, ale one by one Falconovci ukazujú, že sú ten lepší tým. Po 37 minúte môžu rovno ísť tým lover bracketom ďalej. To je to celé Copenhagen, celé Dánsko, celé Česko aj Slovensko. Môže plesať ďalej. Watson nestačí absolútne na celú tú falkonskú skvadru. Je tam absolútne sám. Možno toto bude to posledné, aj keď Brazílci si tam dokonca takisto ešte teraz privlastnili aj Cloud9 ako svoj tým. Možno to budú musieť na tom transparentne prečiarknúť a vybrať si niekoho iného. Tu po 38. minúte jediný Watson sa môže schovávať v stromoch. I just woke up, leave me alone. Hasta la vista, baby, ešte si tam hodí zo pár voice line, ale vyzerá, že tu od týmu Cloud9 príde neskutočný punish od týmu Falcons. Fakt ako bol podľa mňa cítiť tým makrogameom fakt rozdiel triedy v tom, čom sú Falconi najlepší na celom svete. A to je pohyb po mape, to je makroplay a popovanie BK omylom ako Maorin. Watson, teraz tu prišiel akoby do nich otočiť, ale tam je celá tá skvadra. No, Maorin, no on im si nevyportiť. On im proste si nevyportiť. Watson sa bál pôvodne, ale kto sa bojí, sere v síni. 39 minút teda budú môcť akoby teraz skôr miesto tej síne tam akoby použiť aspoň tú arénu, ale tuto s 26 000 gold leadom. Falconi nemajú absolútne problém, hlavne oni môžu ísť teraz po toho Roshana. A ten Roshan tam proste celú dobu zostal po tom fajte. Aj. Absolutný, ale cinema gameplay od Falconov. Normálne sa tam hrajú a ťahajú proste Cloud9 za vlásky, odzadu a bez lásky, tým sa to vôbec, ale vôbec nepozdáva. No a pred 40 minútou možno majú pred sebou jeden high ground defense, myslím, že tentokrát toho Roshana možno ani nestihnú, príde tam tá raketa od Fishmana, majú tam Cloud9 tým pádom tie informácie, ale podľa mňa majú informácie presne také, že to nemajú šancu stihnúť. No a ešte tam no one, dokonca sa sám bude ukazovať aj na tej samotnej wave. Tu sa ale počkať, Cloud9 nejako čakajú, či tu niekto nebude, teraz tam príde ešte tá ďalšia raketa, tam je iba sneaking, tam neprichádza fully commit. Jo, tu ešte Cloud9 môžu o toto skúsiť zabojovať. To Vardov, ale teraz tam boli vidieť, Oliver už sa rozhodol ísť rovno do nich. Tam šetril tú formu až doteraz a myslím, že už bude čas na to, aby tu prišli pekne doraziť. Oliver teda bude nosiť Aegis, Banner si zobere pekne sneaking goš a medzi tým Maorin má level 25, je to ukradol. Aj, dokonca aj Fredin. Môj spolukomentátor Fredovitý sa tu doma aj prišiel pozrieť na túto absolútnu nádheru. Frede, Falconovci s 25 000 gold leadom, 30 ku 14, 40. minúte. Aj keď má Watson všetko, nájde tam aj double damage. OK, Gaben to chce urobiť zaujímavé. Ten double damage, ten by mohol byť teraz podstatný. Fredino ústať sa, chlapče môj. Fishman, teraz stojí dobre, sneaking tam ale nabehol rovno, akoby k tomu high groundu tam čaká práve Watson s tým double damageom. Jediný fight, čo môžu zobrať, nakoniec tam Oliverovi, keď sme nedali za polovičku len nejakým nenápadným lucentom tu, ale prichádza práve ten hookshot. Fishman ale rovno bude otočený, rovno to otočia práve do ňoho no one, tam bude síce schopný s tým backupom to trochu ustať, ale Fishman už padá na 50 sekúnd, otočka príde práve do Amara, ten s pipou. Ešte spolu s tou Kukinou bude OK. DM tam ale prišiel ešte dozadu, tam by to mohol možno dorazniť dôležitý, ale Watson, ten vyzerá, že proti Skitterovi tentokrát ten duel zvládne. A ten ešte bude mať predsa len druhý život. No one tam už medzi tým padol. Pekne tam ale DM trhá celú tú backlinku. Cloud9 sú schopní možno tento fight ešte urvať. Ten double damage popravde, ten bol ten podstatný, aby tam Olivera dokázali jedenkrát urvať. Tu ale otázka, ako to bude následovať Maorin. To tam schováva dobre, Oliver ide ale na druhé kolo. Vybral si práve Kataomi, odnes sa si ten na chvíľku schová. Medzi tým bude zabitý kryt, ale ten takisto má buyback. Maorin hlavne ide do Watsona, ktorý už použil všetko. Lucen by mi môžu štípať, ale Kataomi, Frede, Kataomi je hotový. Ten bude mať buyback ešte takisto. Watson, Skinner! Oliver! Tento rozhodne sám! Oliver lepko! Má mocna! Nemá buyback! Hotovo 20! Ešte ten stun, pozor! Tu ešte môže pristať otočka, ale tu nedostávajú kusný damage! Proste Oliver to rozhodne! Jeho Dragon Knightom! Hotovo 20! Falconi idú ďalej! Absolutná cinema! Neskutočný gameplay! A Falconi sa nám ukážu! Ešte dneska znova na záver! Falcons! Kde je ten carry difference? Ja ho vidím! Oliver! Ten tu ukázal, čo je carry difference. Oh my god, dáme si tam rovno tie zábery, nebojte sa, akoby všetky. Nezmeškáme tu absolútne nič. Ale toto bolo brutál. Ešte OD Pixel hlas, jo, please, aspoň na chvíľku. My boy.
Malrine just jumps in, pops the Shivas, gets vision, forces a weird reaction that kind of comes from Cloud9 to like reveal some of their heroes, and then they jump with everybody else. So yeah, just beautiful execution from Falcons and big hugs around.
That was a tough one here for Cloud9. That's a great show.
Fishman je takisto v tej starej zostavy. Creep Wave. A keby ste niekto nevedeli. Preto to bol taký veľký hug.
These hugs, this is what we love, you know, the Dota scene, our community, it's still there, even if they do bad manner a bit in the alt chat, the hugs are still going to come out afterwards.
Falcons, I mean, the wins that they are getting in this lower bracket run, I mean, it's absolutely of the caliber and the level that you can see this team just making a clean sweep right up until the grand finals that they continue this on. Falcons looking as hot as ever as they continue their lower bracket run.
Falcons absolutely dominating the lower bracket once again. I'm here with Amar. Is anybody going to stop you on your way to those grand finals?
It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. No.
The confidence!
Oh,
I love that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You've had a really good year, you know, multiple top places at multiple huge events. I want to ask, is this starting to feel the same like those events you've won in the past?
I would say I don't want to jinx it, so I will just say, I mean, this tournament is like really nice, like it's huge. Like first time playing like main stage TI is really nice, and for us like we're starting to get in the zone, I think. So hopefully, yeah, we will like get into mood into winning the tournaments that we won.
Iba sa začínajú dostávať, že iba začínajú.
Very much in the zone, reminiscent of some of those earlier dominations in this lower bracket so far. Were you ever worried in these games about giving away these heroes with really high win rates, like the Sand King, like the Luna? Any concern from you guys at all?
No, I think we understand what we need to do, and if we can't break these heroes, then if we can break these heroes, we can easily just win the tournament, and that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to break everything we can.
Break everything on your way there. I love that mentality, and it's going great for you so far. Finally from me, how important is it for you to balance the meta with your own playstyle? Because you do have your own playstyle, Falcons. You like to play your own heroes. How hard is it to find that balance for you?
After last loss in Riyadh Masters, I was bullied into buying auras every game. So there is no more for me to have my own playstyle, and I'm just now buying Pipe, Crimson, Greaves, just that's it. I have no more. They just bully me. They say, why you don't carry us with this? So I'm like, okay, I'll just play like this.
Oh man, Amar getting bullied, that's a shame. All right, I lied, it's not my last question actually. I do want to ask you one more thing. She had a lot to say in the game, but also, do you have anything to say to Cloud9? You know, now that you've eliminated them from the tournament, you know, it's over. Do you have anything to say about the guys you just played against?
I love Cloud9, you know, my former teammates there, and I also stood in with them previously. So yeah, I think they're a good team, and you know, like they just unlucky they get us to face against us, and hope with them like the best in the future.
Amar the Friendly, thank you very, very
Amar
much.
the Friendly.
Guys, give it up for Falcons, for Amar, as they move on in the tournament.
Dneska ich uvidíme ešte na
Thank you very
záver.
much, and we will send it back to the panel.
Ale čakajú nás ďalšie série
Yeah, he's
medzi tým.
referring, of course, to former Creepwave players. Now Malrine on his team, also former Creepwave players, and Amar and the rest of Falcons moving forward here in the International. They'll play again later today. We'll
Ďakujem, že
see
ste Amarovi
if it
hodili
was indeed
Saba
a
takisto.
spoiler,
Ten bude
making it
určite
not
rád.
just to the finals, but also the
Ďakujem
final
takisto za tú
day
podporu, čete.
tomorrow if Falcons
Jsem rád, že aj Pupan už tu má
I do
Saba.
want to focus on Amar to start with.
Vypočujeme si aj main panel, mne to zaujíma jakoby celkovo tiež, chcem sa spolu s vami tu dívať na všetko a užívať si spolu s vami to TI celé. Oh boy.
Oh, absolutely. He
Je ten
played out
pohľad
of
od
his mind.
FA,
He's talking about the auras. Broodmother bought 4
please.
auras in game number 1. In the second game, he did go for
Pohľad do
a little
kamery,
bit of a fun item. He did pick up the Psychic Headband as his neutral item. Yule Scepter that got him a lot of the kills, a lot of setups for his own spear. Enough times so Dragonite can get in with a Blink Dagger, get a secondary stun as well. He also did buy Ether Lens, Bloodstone. He was having a lot of fun, but you know, if auras are the items that are super strong right now, that also means they're going to get nerfed, so Mark can go back to his old playstyle.
Yeah, and we're going to break down this game properly, but we're also going to not make no one wait, as we will hear some final thoughts, final words from No One, who's standing by with me.
No One, my boy.
Yeah, thanks, Sheeps. I'm here with
Legenda.
No One first of all. I think we're
Legenda.
all very sorry to see you guys go out of the tournament. Cloud9 made a lot of new fans here, I'm sure, not just the Brazilian ones, but in general, you guys played some great Dota, had some great performances. That must give you confidence in the future.
It is, yeah.
Fantastic. One of the things I asked a lot of the players here was who they thought one of their best players of the tournament was, and your name came up a lot. It must be nice to hear that.
I mean, it is. Yeah, but in the end we lose, and yeah, there is lots of good players, much better, I believe, right now.
Well, we'll see, but thank you for saying that.
No One, úplně humble
you guys
boy.
obviously have done pretty well here.
Medvídek.
You must be happy with the finish. What are you hoping to do next season?
I mean, right now I want to chill because I gave my best this summer, 3 months of non-stop playing Dota, being in shape, and I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of my team. We have done a great job, and we are tired, I guess. We deserve to chill, and then we'll decide.
So you're going to take a well-earned break. Well, I hope we do see more of you again soon. No One. Royal Arena, can we get a round of applause for Cloud9 and No One, please?
Jaký poriadny aplaus pre No One, prosím.
Thank you.
Ako dědeček zvládne grindiť lepšie ako mladíci.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so proud to be here right now in this moment. I'm so proud to hear this like incredible like crowd in front of me. It's like
Hovorí o
it's
vás,
insane.
Chetan.
That's what I live for, actually. So thank you all, guys. You're the best.
Thank you, No One. But now back to the panel because the tournament rolls on unstoppably.
Unstoppably.
Presne
Thank you very
Cloud9,
much,
brutálny
No One
klobúk
and
dole.
Kyrian, as
To absolútny
Cloud9 will
klobúk
end their
dole.
road here. Top 6 is what they've achieved at the International, which for DM
Top
and for
six.
No One is the same as their previous results, but at least for Watson, Kataomi and Fishman, they have broken previous records as they before
Postupne
did
idú.
not manage to
Postupne
break top
grindia, ty
12.
vole, entity.
Now they've definitely made a large statement and can't
27
wait to
jak je
see what
děda.
they do after.
Oproti 19-ročnému Maurinovi na midě, samozrejme z toho robíme prdel, ale je to tak. Tam ide skôr o to, že deda je to kvôli tomu, že reálne No One tam proste dominoval, vole, v roku 2000, vole, kedy to bolo 16, 17, z VP, bol to jeden z najdominantnejších, agresívnejších midlanerov svojej doby vtedy u Virtus Pro Squadry. A teraz, akoby rozumieš, roku 2024, tí hráči ešte tu ako Maurín ani nevedeli, čo je Dota, ty ešte ani ty vole, sa tam hrali akurát s autíčkami, proste, keď on tam ako dominoval scénu. Takže preto je akoby ten deda. A to je akoby, ja to hovorím ako v dobrom deda. To je proste skúsený deda, rozumieš? 2017 no. To bol jeden z najdominantnejších ér. To isté, ako majú teraz čo gaming gladiátori za posledné roky, tak to isté v tej dobe bolo VP. Marinátor to dostal sama.
Man, oh man, do they play well behind Skeeter. And Skeeter truly was the hero of the series for me. On his DK, on his
vidíte, FA to je takisto. Oliver bol proste všetko. Oliver bol ten najväčší iniciátor proste.
They're playing the map. They're able to split push. He's finding the goes on Luna. Even when the net worth equalized and Falcons were pressuring that high ground a little bit, he gets the instant blink on Luna, which caught Watson completely off guard, forced his BKB, forced his Eclipse. They disengaged off of that. And I do want to give a special shout out as well to Snake King on that Enchantress. He had BKB, Hurricane Pike, Moonshard. He was dishing out the DPS. Ended the game with more damage dealt than his DK actually.
Yeah,
Jo,
it was
Enčka potom bola
very
väčšie carry, no.
impressive to see them run
Táto,
there.
ježiš,
As
toto
you called it,
kombo.
because their bread and butter lineup,
Toto
we've had two
kombíčko.
Grandmasters in this game on the side of Falcons, and the comfort that they have with this playstyle and these heroes, it definitely shone through.
For sure, because you have these three beefy boys that
On
are
chudák
not gonna die
Marinátor
from
je
100
nějaký
heroes. There
jakoby
are no
skitter
heroes that can instantly kill them, and their
hater,
teamfight
jo.
execution
A přišel
is
tu
the best
úplně
we've
jakoby
seen
nám
so
to
far at the
ukázat a
International. I would
nakonec,
say the way they're spreading, not
nakonec
allowing
nič, no.
Kataomi to use a big curse. We saw like 2-man curses. They're using the BKBs, also creating chaos. So Kataomi is not having a game at all. He was kind of forced to buy these defensive items. He had a Blink Dagger, was trying to go for a BKB instead of dealing the damage. Quite a difficult game for him. You have these three insanely tanky heroes just being in front and not caring, because they know they
dostal
can
si teraz
reset.
po
They can
prstoch
pop these
takzvaně, no.
vibes, they can use the Yule Scepter, Cookie,
Ono, fakt
if
jako my tu
somebody's
máme,
getting focused, the
totiž
Hurricane
jednoho
Spike
klauna
from
jakoby v
Enchantress
chatě a
reset
tým je
multiple
prostě
times.
starec a ty jako, jak tam někdo jako bude chce zobrat jeho místo, tak starec se o to postará, jako jo, to je jeho job. To je jeho job.
Drafting against them, it takes so much time and effort that like only a couple teams can truly break them down, right? Like, they've won so many tournaments in the year, and yeah, unfortunately for Cloud9, they weren't able to break down the kind of predictability of
Ne, pane Rockere, ne, už nic, iba ďalšie 3 BO3, je tu finálny víkend, jak sa niekto môže spýtať v tom čete ten finálny víkend, či sa ide hrať ďalšia Dota, čete!
Feel the need to conform the way that other
Hej,
teams do,
normálne
and
mne-
it's
mne-
always the teams
nerúbne
that
péro.
are not afraid to innovate and not afraid to step outside of the meta that make it very far. We've seen XG have success, for example, with their hero picks that don't work for anybody else, so the future is very bright for C9. Ultimately, though, it's Falcons. They're so good at everything. You forget about Timbersaw. You don't ban it when you're setting up for your Spirit. You ban Sniper plus Huskar instead. Boom, you get Timbersaw.
Yeah, there was a period where before Falcons even existed, when you were playing against Amar, you would always first phase ban the Timbersaw. And now on Falcons, you've got Malrine and Amar, both Timbersaw Grandmasters, both Mars Grandmasters. And it's scary because that they can pull it out here, and even though we thought that during the year these type of heroes were kind of nerfed, so they weren't as strong and they weren't first ban material as much, it's scary that they can just pull it out here and it's just almost unanswered.
Yeah, in the high-stake games, it doesn't matter as much. Like we've seen meta changing quite a lot from Road to TI, with the Sniper being super popular as a position 4. Now you have all these different heroes that they have level 30 on. And we also saw Ame, who's playing his different heroes, his Morta, his Faceless Void, wherever it's necessary to get the dub. So they're not afraid to take on the stage and bring the big guns, and that's what I want to see from the top teams.
Yeah, we're going to see another person who's not afraid to take the stage, as it is Purge that we're heading to.
Thanks, Shiva. I talked this morning a little bit about the mid matchup and how important it is for this match, and that last pick Timber was super effective due to the fact that it kind of counters just about every hero on the Cloud9 side. And if we take a look at how the lane shaped up at the very beginning, it was basically just Malrine beating on no one and using Whirling Death. And it's very effective against this hero because it's going to lower his temporary strength, which is his base damage, and his HP. And check out this body blocking in a really crucial moment here. No one realizing he's in trouble, he actually plants a tree and it gets cut down instantly by Malrine. So he doesn't have a tango going while he's trying to get back to his tower. This death sets him back a little bit in the laning stage, and then it kind of transitions from there. He basically pulls the creeps away from Malrine whenever possible, uses his skills from long range to secure last hits, because he just can't play in melee range against him. He even had some nice water rune pickups here to help offset this disadvantage, knowing that he was going to get counterpicked with the last pick. I love how he drags the little range creep with, so he can bring it with him to snack on it a little bit later after getting both water runes. And ultimately, this ends up culminating in some big team fights. No one did have some good rotations bottom, but Malrine did the same thing. He got like 5 kills from this point in the game. And it was at this stage that no one was actually pretty tanky, so Falcons focusing on him at the start of the fight and him surviving actually gave them a good setup to win team fights. And as the game progressed, Watson did a great job carrying. He had tons of net worth, lots of kills. But by the end of the game, all they had to do was kill Watson, and then most of the damage for Cloud9 was gone. So I just think C9 had a great game here. They played against a counter matchup, and they did a great job to keep it even for a very, very long time. But ultimately, Falcons is just the better team.
Thank you, Purge. Sometimes It is just the better team that wins, and that is the case here today for Falcons Cloud9. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of Cloud9, but we're definitely going to see a lot more of Falcons, as they are not yet out. They continue their run in the lower bracket, and we can take a look at that bracket because it is quite scary. We now have 5 teams remaining here, T.
Yeah, and the upcoming series, Tundra versus Extreme. You know, coming into the upper bracket, people were excited, you know, the journey of Tundra with the stand-in, and then Gaming, he put them to the lower bracket so quickly. That game 2 was, whoo! And then Extreme, they're finding form. Every single series after beating out Team Spirit, they're getting better, they're getting crisper, they're identifying the meta, they're changing their kind of slightly more clunky play style of the group stage to now be, you know, a slightly higher paced team. So yeah, this series is like Tundra losing some wind, Extreme picking it up. Yeah.
And I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is Cloud9 and Tundra came from the same group in the road to the International, which people argued was the weakest group at that point. They both started in upper bracket. They both got 2 load in upper bracket. So it's going to be a big question as well for Tundra, whether or not they can cut it with the teams that have been consistently getting top 4 all year.
Yeah, on the bright side for Tundra, the reason Falcons is in this lower bracket, Lacoste, are them.
Yeah, that is true. And if Tundra Esports win against Extreme Gaming, they are going to be facing Falcons, which I think Falcons will be very happy about that one.
They probably will. They probably would love to get some.
Get that
some
rematch,
revenge,
yes.
for sure. We'll see though, because between Tundra and Falcons facing each other, there is one big opponent there in the middle, and that is Extreme Gaming. This is a squad that has made their mark, but they are looking to go further. So it is time for both of these teams to take the stage to determine which one of these teams will become top 4.
Welcome on stage, Tundra Esports.
We got Pure, we got Thompson, Ramsey, Sexa, Whitemon, and Coach Moonmeander as they walk towards their booth. They are ready to start their run in the lower bracket, only getting knocked down yesterday, but not out, as I'm sure they are ready to fight their formidable opponents in Extreme Gaming.
Welcome on stage, Extreme Gaming.
We got Ame, XM, MaxXS, ZQ, GY, and Coach Maps taking the stage opposite of Tundra. One best of 3, and this team is familiar with the lower bracket. Extreme Gaming has already eliminated defending champions Team Spirit. Aurora, can they do the same to Tundra right here, right now? We'll see if they have what it takes. It definitely looked good for them yesterday on this stage, and they are looking to repeat that result as we keep having 2 O's on this main stage. I'm hoping that both of these teams in play style will match up nicely against each other. In that regard, T-Gov, how would you define the play style that we are about to watch for both these teams going head to head?
I mean, if you want to start from the mid lane, it's going to be the quirkiness of the mid lane. We've already multiple times throughout this TI praised XM on his hero pool, and of course Thompson, he mirrors it in his own style. Like, both like to play sniper, both play like the weird heroes, but we'll see what happens there. In regards to timing though, I think Tundra should have a better matchup against Extreme due to the fact.
And you mentioned the sniper T. XM is a sniper specialist, but so is Thompson. And I just wanted to settle the debate, who is the best sniper in the world? So I looked at their career stats with sniper, and XM with 40 total games played has a 72.5% win rate. So this is the sniper player of the tournament, the best sniper player in the world. Just don't give it away to him.
Yeah,
anymore.
And that's the thing. I think going back to the previous point, like Sniper is a lane winner in certain matchups, and I don't think that should really be happening in this series because, you know, Extreme, they like to play a relatively slower game. They're really good at punishing their opponent, but they don't play like Liquid or Gaming where like at 10, 15 minutes when they beat their opponent, they keep reminding them. They're like, hi, we're in your jungle, hi, you know, they kind of stabilize it a bit. And that's why Tundra, they got destroyed due to high pace. That's why, of all the series, this probably should be a 3-game one based on their kind of mirroring playstyles to some degree.
Yeah, Tundra, they got destroyed yesterday. This was their worst showing. They got, I would say, surprised with all the picks that Gaming did have. In this one, I want to see some more aggressiveness. I think the playstyle will be much better matched when it comes down to Extreme Gaming. But Extreme Gaming, I would say, when it comes down to being the most clutch team, we always talk about Team Spirit. They are eliminated. They are the ones who eliminated Team Spirit. It also comes down to their execution. This team, post 30 minutes, their teamfight execution, almost flawless.
I agree entirely. Extreme Gaming is not talked about enough as a comeback team because they've pulled off so many team fights from net worth deficits, from positions that they've created for themselves. So they're not only a team that can be considered good in the mid game and the late game, but they're also good at comebacks, which is why you want to bring more tempo to them than they bring to you. Tundra yesterday showed us, though, that they did suffer a little bit when Pure was shut down. I think for me, the biggest takeaway that I had was when Gaimin were bringing their heroes through the gate and running at Pure's lane, kicking him out of that lane early, Tundra just did not have comfortable play. So if Extreme watched that, that's something to build off of already.
Extreme Gaming, they never put themselves on a timer. We saw a lot of these 4 protect 1 strategies that sometimes fall short when you are unable to execute 30 minutes in. They always have some kind of a backup. Ame's been playing these late game carries, Faceless Void, we've seen Muerta, we've seen Medusa against Team Spirit in game number 3, and also XM. He's playing Sniper, he's playing heroes that are going to scale from the mid lane.
Also, one thing with Extreme is I think they're one of the few teams that morph into their opponent very, very quickly in regards to their drafts. And you know, we're seeing some heroes picked here. You know, the Mars 80% win rate for Tundra, 80% they go for Extreme. But I think mainly on Extreme's hero pool, it changes very quickly based on their opponent. And that is honestly one of my biggest praises. Like, against Liquid, they didn't really know what was coming for them, and they get thrown to the lower bracket. And then the 2 series after, like Spirit's a big team fight team, yet they then go for like strong lanes and don't allow them to hit the team fight. Against Aurora, they're a late game team. But then Extreme is only picking big team fight. If you want to go late, we'll out late game you. And the fact that you can see 3 different series, 3 different types of a team, that is testament to the coaching team, to the fact that they are willing to play any style. And I don't think there's many teams left at TI that can go from a late game to a quick, and like they are so versatile.
They really are, and they bring their own creativity as well. Like, we've talked about Ame's confidence in calling for these carry picks. You mentioned the Faceless Void. There's the Muerta that only ever looked good when they played it. But also, there are support bans that you have to consider when you play against Extreme. We saw Tinker getting prioritized in the first phase versus DY. There's also this Tusk that you have to think about, that, or this Marcy for Xingqiu. He makes them look so good. There are just so many routes that XG can take in that first phase.
I think Xingqiu feels the same way, the way Amar feels about the offlane, because what he's building right now are these Vlad, Solar Crest, AC items that he's not really enjoying. These are team items. This is the guy that has been one of the most creative position fours out there with the Baboka. He tends to do his own stuff in the game, but kind of forced in this position. But if it gets the job done, at the end of the day, it's all good.
Would you say that that's the same style that Saxa has as well? Because in terms of those 2 supports and how they match up with their respective offlaner, I kind of feel with that in mind, Teague, of XXS and Ramses are a little bit oftentimes maybe left alone a little bit more.
No, for sure, yeah. I think the way that these teams play, it opens up for cores to have, like, you can see in any game, any core on both of these teams can become like the big player of the game. Like Ram's gonna have his offlane game where he's like the Night Stalker, XSS on his like Mars can also step up, and it's because of like the foundations of both teams are so good that at any minute it has those moments. And just to warn you guys, okay, Topson, again, creative player, recently, in the last 24 hours, he has played 1 hero 4 times that I don't think we've seen yet from the mid lane.
Hey, what's up? What is it? Don't give us a suspense. What?
Silencer.
Sign.
He's played 4 mid-game Silencer games. He won all 4 of them, and he's going Gleipnir Rush or Hurricane.
Were they bot games?
No, he's doing stellar. So I'm just warning you. Like, normally how Topson operates is he likes a hero, He plays it a lot.
He likes silencing.
And then he goes to his coach, and before back on the OG days, like he's like, pick me up, Warden, I don't care, same logic. We might just randomly see a new hero pop up into this lower bracket game. I was about to say grand finals. But
And when we talk about the players who play a lot of Dota, Ame has played 78 matches in the last 8 days, plus also the scrims and also the official matches. And he has some interesting heroes as well that he has played. The Sloan Druid that we've seen from Gaming Gladiators yesterday, so that's definitely on the radar. But the big ones that he's been playing is this Huerta that we said multiple times, Spectre that he could possibly bring that out, as we've seen Aurora using that hero to get some dubs as well. But also compare him to Pure, I would say that Pure had some of the best carry performances, some like really clutch moments so far at the TI. Also, if we go back to Riyadh Masters, I would say that he has the best carry performance at that tournament as well. He is very aggressive, and what I like about him, he risks. Like, he's going to take a lot of risk when he plays carries, and that's what I want to see on the stage.
Yeah, it's the type of plays where you either feed and everyone goes, oh, that's just a classic pure def at this situation, or it's the game-winning move. And that volatility is something that Tundra has harnessed over time. He has, I think, improved as a player. But yeah, going up against Ame, you always know there's going to be that one moment where he is going to shine.
I will say, when you brought up the Lone Druid, Lacoste, I did get a little bit of a flashback to yesterday. Because one thing that Tundra struggled with yesterday against Gaming Gladiators was Lone Druid, but then also in combination with a lot of extra heroes that just bring that extra push. We heard them call it the Zoo meta coming out. Moon said we just banned out a bunch of Zoo heroes in the next game to try and remedy that. But at the end of the day, that is something, that amount of push was something that Tundra at that time could not deal with very well.
Oh, they definitely watched that series and saw some, extra holes in the armor that they could potentially exploit. Alchemist, that's the hero that can bring the speed. You talked about the Zoo. XXS, one of his most successful heroes, is Visage, has 80% win rate, plays it extremely well. If they want to play, some Alchemist position 4, whatever it's necessary. DY, he has quite a lot of these position 5 heroes that deal tower damage as well. So they can speed things up, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think Extreme Gaming are a team that would full commit to Zoo the way that Gaimin does, but I love the Visage shout out. There's also Enigma that can function as a a semi-Zoo hero running down a lane with those Eidolons. You put a Tinker behind him, you're bringing the tempo. Also, back in the day, they lost to Broodmother. I gotta say, back in the day, XXS used to be known as the best Broodmother in the world, so maybe he could just have a re-emergence of this hero at this tournament too.
That could be. You want me to give another case of why the series could be a very even one, T-Gov?
Please
they
do.
have faced each other this year, 5 series totally, and it's a very, very nice split in terms of series. 2-1 as in 2 series win for Extreme, 2 series win for Tundra, and 1 tie. It's perfectly balanced.
Yeah, again, like tactically, they feel like relatively the same team, and that's why I don't think Tundra is going to change too much from what they've done so far, but Extreme have already shown that ability to change. Just going back to the whole idea of like the Zoo, it would be surprising if any team was suddenly going to the level that Gaming's going at. I think that is a very volatile thing to do in the penultimate day of the International, to try and take a Zoo strategy that takes so much time to craft. But I hope that we see a little bit of flair coming from XG and just going back to the foundations of why Tundra is here.
Yeah, and that 4 versus 5 you said, that's their result in games, not in series, which is why those numbers are slightly different. Now, with both these teams being so nicely even in playstyle, we can expect a lot of them, and we learned a lot about them yesterday as well. There is one big thing that could potentially determine the outcome of the game already, and that is the draft. So let's get going.
Tundra Esports versus Extreme Gaming. Game 1.
Here we go. We got Extreme Gaming starting this series on the Radiant side with first pick. Tundra will start this series on... Tundra starts on the Radiant side with second pick and Extreme with first pick on the Dire side. So basically the way it always is. Whoever's Radiant gets overall last pick. And we are in the ban phase already. And in terms of heroes we won't be seeing, I don't think anybody is surprised to see that Thompson's Invoker is removed from the pool. I do think a lot of people are sad, but look,
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to see it. Thompson, too good of a player. Two heroes I'm looking in the first phase for Extreme Gaming, Marana and Tusk. Both are still going to be available, so they get to choose which one they want to take.
And Tinker as well.
Tinker as well. The
Tinker
DY's Tinker is really mean. He takes a lot of farm. That's why we see Jin Q not getting the priority, not getting all of his items that he maybe wants to buy in the game, but they looked pretty impressive every single time they played Tinker.
And Tundra still having some memories of the series last night, because this is the first time that against Extreme, Visage is banned against them in the first phase. Like normally, Extreme likes to go for the Naga Siren, the Treant Protector, the Tusk, the Marana, the Tinker. They've never gone for a first pick Visage, but Tundra already going, you know what? We'll take it away in the first phase when we have the bans available. In the second phase, when we have a single ban, we now don't have to think about it, but it does open up for the comforts of Extreme to bleed into the first pick.
And for Tusk, this is a hero that is picked so many times with such a high win rate. Incredibly strong start, as Tundra's start is going Sniper.
The battle for Sniper.
Oh yes.
Did they hear us showing that graphic?
Yeah, I think so. I think Thompson wants to prove a point. If it is Thompson that will play it, I know there is a potential flex potential. We have seen Saxa play it this week as well. But maybe indeed. Maybe.
Matter of pride.
Yes.
It's got to be the mid sniper. You've got to show XM that you're going to take his sniper and beat him with it.
You picked Sniper against the best sniper team in the world, I would say. They know how to counter this hero.
Sure.
They know the matchups.
That's the risky part.
And again, but the thing with Sniper is support Sniper and core Sniper are very different. Support Sniper, you need to have a winning lane. You need a team that wants to play into the map aggressively and continue hunting for your opponent. If the game ever stabilizes, you always wish you had a support in the 4 realm that could do something else, play for pickoff, play a wider map. But from the mid lane, you normally punish most mid laners, you prevent them from being active in the early game, and then you become an additional core that you need to somehow find the sniper whilst killing off the carry, surviving the initiation from the offlane. Hence why it is such a high value here at the moment, because yeah, again, I prefer it in the mid. I'm hoping it is mid, because I think the win rate on support is like sub 40%, and from mid it's easily above 50.
Yeah, for Saxa this event so far, the win rate is 0%. So.
Yep.
It's a tough one. We got ourselves a Luna removed from the pool and a Willow, and that is unusual, Effie. Normally we don't see Willow banned.
It is, but when you think about Mars as a hero, he functions very well with Sniper, and one of his best combinations in the game is Dark Willow. So this Dark Willow just could be preparation for in case the Ramses Mars does come out, because if it does, then it's telegraphing a mid-sniper.
I think if Tundra doesn't pick up Mars, Extreme Gaming will. These are the two teams that utilize the hero extremely well. Ramses, he had a pretty small hero pool when it comes down to him playing at the Riyadh Masters. He did expand his hero pool, adding some new heroes like Kunkka. He did play Alchemist off lane, and did surprise Falcons with that Night Stalker pick. So he has some of these pocket picks that he could bring to the table if it's necessary.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that Night Stalker makes a re-emergence, especially if XM goes for some puck on 18. Like, he does have a specific hero pool in his Viper, in his Sniper, in his Razor, but often on the overall 18 pick, which is the second phase where they close it out, he will go for Storm or puck. That's what they were doing during group stages.
And Tundra right now, they have the option of, I'd like to see them maybe pick the 5 to keep the draft a little bit more open. You don't want to go offlane and maybe get a counter pick so quickly. But again, the difficulty with the 5 pick here is you might go for like the Omni Knight for Whiteman to push the hero forward. If Sniper's mid, getting an additional repel onto the Sniper will help a lot in the clutch moments. Or there's still the Elder Titan that Whiteman's played a lot.
Shadow Demon for me is the big one. This
It's still
hero
available,
is
yeah.
still available. Hero that does pretty much everything, but it's just going to be Mars. It's too good of a pick. It took them a little bit more time to think about it, because we said it's going to be highly contested in this game. Now you need some kind of vision. You have save with the Tusk, but you need vision inside the arena.
I have a question.
Yes.
If Willow was banned out to not make that strong combination with the Mars for Tundra, why wouldn't they just ban out the Mars?
I fully agree, but I'm expecting Extreme has already assumed Tundra will automatically go for Mars, because if Tundra don't take Mars, Extreme will go Mars +1. Therefore, it's like, okay, don't ban the Mars, let them have it, and then we know what lane it is instantly. And that was kind of my concern if Tundra did go for this route, because you know what the offlaner is. There's no flexibility with Mars. Mars Sniper or Mars plus any 4, it's going to be the same thing. I'd like to think Extreme just want Tundra to draft in an expected way.
But also, they've let Mars through on Extreme. They've run crazy things like Undying plus Medusa. They have their own take on how to beat Mars on lane, and if they take away something like a Willow, they want that combo up because that means that they're going to pick a mobility-based laner from either the mid lane or the carry, and Brambles are so annoying versus mobility heroes.
And here it is. It's like, congratulations, you got your Mars, but now you're going to be laning into a Drinking Buddies Tusk with the Shadow Fiend, just constantly pushing down the Mars. And don't forget, what was it, Extreme versus Heroic, where Extreme takes a fight in their own triangle, they clutch up, get 3 or 4 kills, walk down mid, Arme just hits tier 3, tier 4, tier 4, boom, Ancient's gone. Like, it is scary, and Jakiru, we don't see that.
We don't see 2 range heroes often in the safe lane. It's also a flex pick, but I think the Shadowfin is going to be played by Ame in the safe lane, securing the lane, quite a lot of slows, something that Mars doesn't like to play into. And you also have Requiem, so when he drops down the arena, you're a BKB buyer, an early one, you can use that Requiem and try to fear them away from the big team fight. And I like this a lot. I think they're never going to lack damage, they have a good Roche taking potential.
And this Jakiro gives them extra flexibility in the draft because now on this 18 pick, they could see what Tundra do here, and if instead of picking for XM, they could pick something for XXS. They could go for a Visage or Enigma, and if they choose to do that based on what Tundra pick here, then they can move the Tusk to position 4, play Jakiro with the Shadow Fiend. So it's a very good idea to set up for their overall last pick this phase.
Yeah, and for Tundra, they need to, if they want to keep the sniper part of the draft alive, this is where you pick the carry. Of course, Luna has been banned out by Extreme. That's often what we'd be calling here, but then they go for Shadow Demon. So Sniper is the mid lane. Clock, Shadow Demon are your supports. And I think Tundra has just invited Extreme to, please, try and fight us. If you do, we'll disrupt safe who you go on. There'll be a hook shot to turn around, plus the arena. The entire early game of Tundra after laning phase, you won't see them really make too many smoke plays, but kind of bait Extreme to make these opportunities. And yeah, Extreme now, they want to take the fight. You've got the mid lane Shadow Fiend, the carry Void. Like, this is damage absolutely everywhere.
That's why I said that this team is never gonna be able to lose in like 20 minutes, or if it comes down to 40 minutes, they will always have something. So Shadow Fiend, Faceless Void, really good scaling lineup. And they also picked Shadow Demon into Jakiro. I like Shadow Demon overall as a hero, but sometimes it can be tricky. You use that disruption. It's a pretty good setup for an Ice Path once you come out.
I really like this. I really like what they've done here, picking the Faceless Void. It's a hero that's not threatened by Mars at all, and it's also going to be their catch for this mid sniper that was confirmed by the Clockwork Shadow Demon picks in this phase. But also, what SF does mid versus sniper is that you are looking at Tundra's draft. They have a Shadow Demon. They're going to stack that triangle ridiculously, but if you can just do a +1 rotation with this SF, with those raises, you can contest those stacks early on. And let's not forget, XM at the Riyadh tournament, he was the SF player for Extreme Gaming. In this tournament, it was Ame, but he has played so much SF, and he's confidently said, if you leave me this hero, I will pick it and I will beat you with it.
Yeah, and for Extreme, the way that they pick the Faceless Void is they see a lack of tower damage early on from Tundra, a lack of map progression. So often we'd be saying, you know what, Extreme's draft is a little bit greedy. How do they get online? But how does Tundra actually punish the greed? They themselves want to be efficient. Like Effie's mentioning, make the stacks, farm the stacks. Their entire plan from laning phase is look backwards to your own jungle. Therefore, like Extreme, they're looking good. And I'm assuming the Shadow Fiend will go for maybe, is it like magic damage from the mid lane, allow your Void to carry. You see Sniper early on, quick jump onto him, but it's choice. Depending on your last pick, he easily can still go for a right click and just ball up into a clicking lineup with the.
I'm just very excited to see Shadow Fiend against Sniper, and then the Shadow Fiend played by, and what we determined based on statistics, there's the best Sniper player, so he'll know exactly how to play that lane against that Sniper.
Yeah, we've seen usually the counters for snipers were these heroes that could keep the distance, like Zeus, Keeper of the Light, when Sniper was first picked a couple of months ago as well. So you did not want to get killed, you also wanted to get some extra farm, get the stacks in your own jungle. And Magnus, I was looking at the heroes that they've been playing, because he has relatively small hero pool, and if you open up his Dota Pro tracker, he did play 4 Magnus games in the last 7 days.
Might be a crazy suggestion, but I kind of want XSS to play the chaotic hero that does anything. He's played like Bristle before, but I don't think they care about teamfight anymore. They don't care about the scaling. They just want a noisy hero from the offlane. So potentially throw him on like a Bristle, throw him on a hero that can just, farm up the early stacks, because Void can't farm the Ancient. Shadow Fiend also doesn't really, I mean he can, but I feel like an early stack taker on Extreme, plus map playing hero, soak up the initiation of the Mars, and then give free entry to the fight with the Void or the Shadow Fiend. That's kind of like the archetype of the offlane I'm looking for.
Well, XXS, when he first came into the scene, it was his Legion commander that's shown brightest, but I don't know if that hero is dead.
It's pretty dead.
Oh, too bad. It would be really nice.
I mean, if you're talking about noise, we just saw a Timbersaw go overall forgotten in a draft and do a lot of damage in that last pick.
But no, like Bristleback for me sounds really exciting. It also adds goo to amp the tag team, the Drinking Buddies, the Shadow Fiend with the Void. Like, I think it adds the extra layer of complexity of how do you even beat it. And then same thing, I think Timber, sure, can work really well. But.
I think Kunkka, if Kunkka's still available, right? Something cheap could be really good, something that buys auras, because you have Shadow Fiend, Faceless Void. I don't want to see something super greedy. I think it needs to be something that comes online relatively early on. And the reason why I like it so much is we've seen how good it is against the Mars in certain situations.
Cool.
Okay, second Lycan of the tournament. Aurora yesterday, they did bring it up one time, and it looked good. It looked much better than expected with the Wolf facet.
Oh, we got some animals coming out here. The wolf versus the bear.
I don't know which one I like more. The Extreme, the Lycan, it's really exciting when you have the wolf facet, finding the Shadow Demon, constantly scouting with the wolves, the little roots. It's so obnoxious to play against. And Tundra, it's like, they do not want to get to mid to late game against Extreme's lineup. They do not want them to have 2 to 3 items on their cores, so they go for a lone druid. They want to try and break that offlane, prevent
I have a couple of notes. I think that like
Vítám vás tu krásně všetkých. Další hra je před námi, další série je před námi. Takže jste si užívali ten anielský hlas FA doteraz. Ale už je čas, aby jsme se usadili aj my k tomuto celému, chat. Mezi tím jsem tu opravil všetky technikálie, doufám, které tu jako vznikly tím resetom. Ale doufám, že už všetko mám nastavené dobré, takže hopefully to všetko bude krásné a nic se nebude bugovat teda, chat.
Both teams stole a pick, like these crazy picks from the teams that they played against yesterday. So now we have
to bude mega zaujímavá hra podle mě. Lycan versus Lone Druid.
It is green. This is Faceless Void, Lycan, even though he comes online relatively early on, you still have Shadow Fiend on your team. Not a lot of setup in terms of how they're gonna play the fight.
Extreme jdou mega extrémní draft, oveľa extrémnější, jako mají tundráci. Takže jako je to skôr tak jako něco stabilnější versus extrémní extreme gaming.
Massive timer for Tundra. They need to win early. The later this game goes, Extreme has the entire late game. So if you're a Tundra fan, 30 minutes on the clock, get it going. If they haven't won by then, it's going to be real difficult.
Okay, let's see what's going to happen in this first game of this best of 3 in the lower bracket. Before we head to that game, though, we're first going to check in with Coach Maps, who's talking to Tsunami.
Thank you very much. I am joined by Maps, coach of Extreme, and Helen will be helping me translate because I wanted to know about how the meta has evolved. We are now on the second to last day of this event, but we've been going through the road all this time. How has the strategies, the hero picks changed over all these days?
这个比赛也打了那么多天了，我们想问一下，你对整个战术上的大趋势有什么改变，有什么看法呢？
就可能大家更注重线上，然后各个队每个队都有自己喜欢玩的东西，然后去针对嘛。
I think that everyone prioritizes the lanes, and every team has their own specialties, heroes that they love to play. So it's around that.
Well, on the topic of specialty heroes, I'm also wondering, how do you as
má dobré boty, ten coach má mega dobré boty, musím povedať. Má starý skejťák. Já vám vravím, že jsem mladá skejtoval. Já vám to vravím teraz.
我们想问一下，你对于对手有那么一位选手 Thompson， 游戏里面可选的英雄，他都有可能玩，去怎么针对他呢？
首先他是一个英雄是非常广的选手。 就也没有特意去针对他吧，只是让他的节奏可以缓和一点。我们也能猜到他可能是个火枪手，所以选了个狼人，就昨天欧罗拉教我们的嘛。对。
Vyzerajú to ako nejaké esy, alebo niečo také, ty vole. Nejaké adia.
He can play anything, and we did expect that he would play sniper, but we took out something of our own. We picked Lycan that we learned from Aurora yesterday.
All right then, I love the creativity. Maps, best of luck in this game number 1 as we send it to our casters.
Ďakujem krásne za predanie slova Tsunami, veľmi takto krásne a plynulé. Si teda pekne krásne skočíme aj in-game my. A skočíme sa teda pekne pozrieť na to, čo nás čaká. No a samozrejme, že to bude nejaká poriadna nálož do tičky dvojky, chat. Poďme pekne krásne na to. Poďme si to spoločne užiť. A poďme sa teda pozrieť na tú druhú dnešnú Lower Bracket sériu, ktorá rozhodne predsa len o tom oponentovi, ktorého na záver dneska uvidíme proti Falconovcom. Zase tu vidíme celku zaujímavý záber od kameramana teda, čisto len pre vás. Dúfam, že ste spokojní s takýmito bonusovými zábermi, teda, ktoré uvidíte len tu. Máme tam ale nakoniec tie Alpha Wolfy, ako som videl. Veľké vlčky, ktoré si tam očividne teda XXS pôjde vyťahnuť tiež a pôjde skúsiť. Pekne tam pohantiť hlavne tú backlineu. Je pravda, že tie veľké vlky tam ako fakt dokážu urobiť bordel. Každopádne Tundráci majú svoj domáci draft. Jo, jednoznačne, proste ich marzík. Aj keď akoby, jo, ten 100% win rate už im breakli teda ako jednoznačne predtým ako kľúci ušatí. Jo, pozdravili ich tam tak tučne, že to nebolo až úplne pekné, gladiátori včera. A Tundráci, tí ako dneska, jo, dokonca ukradli toho Lone Druida, čo je možno to najzaujímavejšie. Majú samozrejme toho snipera na first pick dokonca, čo proti Extremovcom dáva zmysel aj ako counter pick, aby to ukradli. Ale Pure nám tu proste ide ukázať po vzore Diráčia, že všetky tie CIS carryčka očividne chcú vyťahnuť toho Lone Druida poriadne do mety a vyzerá, že jak nám tu akoby tie TI série odbývajú a blížime sa viac a viac k nejakému tomu teoretickému konečku. No, vyzerá, že dostane teda medzi tým Whitemon trošku vyklepáno akurát. Stine ale pekne vyportiť akurát dole. DY bude nakoniec hrať Position 5 Jakira, celkovo Wombo combo, ktoré príde mne volá ešte Gabča medzi tým, to je len paráda. Gabča na random skúsila, či náhodou nekomentujem, ale dobrý. A každopádne pred minútou, teda, ktorú máme za sebou, žiadne veľké šlamastiky teda na linkách tak úplne neboli. Mňa celku zaujíma ako XM hodlá zvládnuť s SF-kom toho snipera, pretože s nejakými tými dvojkovými rejzami to tam môže byť povedzme o niečo príjemnejšie, že to tam má dokonca tie prvé 4 creepy na pána, ale ten sniper matchup, ten sa začne vždycky okolo toho 3. levelu dosť ako intenzívne komplikovať s nejakými dvojkovými šrapnelmi, by som povedal. A som zvedavý, ako toto SF-ko bude schopné ako celé zvládnuť. No to Whitemonič, teraz dobre si akurát pomohol sám tými šardami, vyzerá, že Purík klasicky po tom vzore pôjde presne ten build akurát na tie 3 itemy proste na sebe a bude to viac taký ten ako tučný, ten sám Lone Druid a nie úplne ten medvídek, okolo ktorého sa tu vedbene posledné roky akoby dosť intenzívne točilo. Jo, tuto ale by sme sa mohli dostať do, teda ak sa dostaneme do late gameu, tak si myslím, že budú Extremovci ale absolútne doma. Jo, Amen a Faceless Voidovi, do toho dávame SF-ko Likana, ešte Wombo combo s Jakirom a do toho ešte jednoho pána, ktorý tam bude moc snowballov niečo pekne zdržovať. Na druhej strane ale bude Saxiť, za mňa veľmi podstatný Shadow Demon do toho. Ramses takisto, aj keď jedenkrát proti gladiátorom dostal náklad na tom jeho Marzovi stále. Je to jeho najlepší panáček, čo na TI má. No, vyzerá, že XM, aj keď zatiaľ s tými rejzami zvláda uláziť to Váva Thompsona na resursy, ale ho tam teda očividne nenechá len tak niečo porobiť. Jo, tuto není ani od XG nejaký veľký ganking lineup, že by ho tam ako dokázali úplne plne nejak ako nabiehať, ne, že ne. Jo, myslím si, že ale tu budú ako musieť Extreme ukázať fakt svoje poriadne čínske kvality. Tu stále ten jediný čínsky tým, ktorý tam zostáva. Ramses vyzerá, že na vrchu, ale bude mať možno problém aj proti Amemu. Bešík tam procol jednotkový. Ramses netrafil ani tú spíru a DY bere first blood pre Čínu. Extreme Gaming. Rovno to tam DY pôjde dať zožrať, takisto aj Saxičovi, ten normálne môže tradovať dobre, ale zrovna proti Jakirovi to teda nebude fungovať úplne plne. Ani zďaleka. Hlavne si tam zobral dokonca ten Disseminate, aby tam proste mal trošku akoby lepší možno burstík alebo niečo. Jo, ale nemá tam úplne tie poizny, aby tam dokázal na tej linke možno nejaký ten poriadny stacking damage vyťahnuť. Mid zatiaľ ustáva XM absolútne nádherne. Jo, aj keď si podľa mňa Topson podľa toho draftu myslel, že ten Snipur tam bude stále veľmi dominantný aj proti tomu SF-ku. Očividne to tak úplne nebude. Ešte nám tu Zinkiu dá nejakú nenápadnú pauzičkenzi a budeme dúfať, že to není teda žiadny veľký problém. Už vidíme, že tam akoby niečo teda musí nahlásiť, že tam akoby niečo možno očividne s mikrofónom je teda očividne zlé. Pure už tam takisto má nejaký ten speech medzi tým, teda čo sa tu deje. Ale medzi tým môžete aspoň čo to ukázať, koľko z vás sa ide dneska celý víkend dívať na poriadnu dotičku dvojku. Kto z vás je tu účet? Koho tu mám? Ukážte. A chcem vidieť tie usmiaté tváre. Ukážte, koľko vás tu je. Koľko vás tu je v čete? No tak. Ja chcem vidieť všetkých. Všetkých do jedného chcem vidieť. Aha, no jo, jasne, vidím, áno, jasne, dobré. OK. Jako vonku chčí jak svinia samozrejme, takže takže dúfam, že budete pekne usadení a myslím, že celý víkend tu spolu akoby môžeme celku romanticky stráviť. Jo. Hlavne sa mi páči, že tentokrát akoby u Extremovcov, čo som chcel ešte nadviazať na to, že toho Shadowfienda idú hrať na ten Magic. Jo, a takisto aj to Chrono tam nebudú mať a budú tam mať time zóničku, ak sa nemýlim, takže jo, toto ako Extreme idú hrať ako novodobý gaming, by som povedal. Môžu to zapnúť, už som tady, jo, tak ja im to teda dám vedieť, jo. Vyzerá, že kluci sú už akoby pomaly pripravení, keď už Locker.cz je pripravený tiež. Už aj vytopilo metro, takže nikam nejdem. No, vidíte, akoby chat, nemáte ani aj tak na výber, proste nemáte nič lepšie na práci, len a len sledovať tú najkrajšiu a najkomplexnejšiu hru, aká existuje. Ten najkomplexnejší e-sport, na ktorý sa dívajú len tí vyvolení. A aj keď akoby je nás možno menej ako na nejaké tie iné záležitosti, vyzerá, že Zinkiu stále a ešte na tej kamere teda tam fixuje očividne nejaký problém, že tam možno nejaké mikrofóny, akoby chce tam ako poriadne zakričať XXS-ovi, že kámo, vočka, pošli tam naspäť a nie, rozumiete, a nefunguje mu to úplne dobre, takže to tam potrebuje úplne celé pofixovať a po tej tretej minúte teda uvidíme, ako to bude fungovať ďalej. Zatiaľ ten prvý kill si tam teda na vrchu zobrali a kluci už majú očividne go time, takže sa tu teda usadíme všetci do jedného aj my, pekne to tam má Ramzes, ale s tými triple rangeákmi, teraz len setupnuté pod tou vežou. A my ako AME nebude možno jeden z tých šťastnejších, ak je to zatiaľ vylazitoval velice pekne, čo sa týka tých prvých 3 minút. Medzi tým Zinkiu dole poznáva, čo je to tradovať proti tomu Purovmu Medvídkovi. Ten je predsa len ako doma s medveďmi, jo? Jako je predsa len ako z Ruska, takže tam ako medvídkov majú kluci ako bežne domácich mazlíčkov pomaly na low. Dopadne pred 4 minútou uvidíme, ako tieto skúsenosti teraz domova Pure bude môcť ukázať aj v gameplay. Už to ukázal Diráčio, ukázal, že dokáže trhať s medvídkami absolútne. Medzi tým už aj Ame, dokonca tam ide proste vydenajovať tú centrinu, ktorú tam dávali predtým, aby vôbec mohli akoby pulovať aspoň to druhé. Jo, tam má jednoducho setupnutý ten Mars, proste celé to creep equilibrium. Na vrchu budú proste Extremovci teraz akoby trošičku smutný, ale za mňa XM neskutočne pekne zvláda celý ten middle. Je to tam vezmené even trade-off, dobre Topson tam bude mať proste viac denájov, má tam 11 denájov proti XM-ovi, ale stále bude mať 21 creepov, hlavne s tými slovovacími rejzami, s tým magic buildom viac. Jo, tam ako zo 2 rejzy, ten sniper sa ako nebude pomaly hýbať. Jo, medzi tým to tam Ramzes má stále bezpečne v pohode pod vežou, aj keď tam ako DY ohlodáva pekne. Jo, vrca len ako s tými Liquid Frostami, ono to ako celku ako zaštípe tie spely, aj keď teraz tam už nemá úplne, a on si zobral Liquid Fire dokonca. OK. Už som tiež nevidel, proste tu normálne Extremovci prišli, a nielen, že si dobrali extrémny draft, ale zobrali si všetky extrémne facety. Zinkiu, medzi tým teraz s pupkom ešte stihne pekne odísť, ten Drinking Buddies a ten Movement Speed mu tentokrát zachránili pekne prdel. Jo, medzi tým tam ale ulázitovať toho Londruida ako s tými bonusovými statmi podľa mňa ani poriadne nejde. Sniper ale medzi tým má absolútne fríčko. Jo, ten Likan hlavne vyzerá, že takisto dole trpí, aj keď s tými vlčkami tam povedzme nejakých 7 deniajov uhral. Má tam 18 krepášov, XM medzi tým reálne je full time v lese, stekuje si tam akorát kempy s tými trojkovými rejzami, to je celku efektívne. Jo, ale Topsona samozrejme nezastavia absolútne tiež. Išiel dokonca ešte na Matumbamana zaspomínať, urobiť 2 rýchle raid bandy. Chýba mu tam teda tretí, aby to bolo teda úplne dokonale. Ale čata, ja som veľmi rád, že sa vás tam nachádza toľko a že si celý tento víkend spoločne budeme môcť užiť. Pretože len toto je proste sviatok Doty, toto je proste sviatok celého e-sportu. Toto je ten turnaj, na ktorý sa ja každý rok teším neskutočne a Medzi tým by the way, musím ešte pripomenúť, že nakoniec samozrejme dneska budú tiež nejaké tie bonusové giveawayčky, o ktorých sa pobavíme, ale takisto Prstory je na mieste, tam pre vás má ešte nejaké veci priamo z miesta. XXS medzi tým, ale tuto na mieste očividne teraz rovno postosá na prvý poriadny rotation od Thompsona. Tento snipur s maxovanými headshotmi má záujem klikať pravým očividne na hrdinou. Saxič medzi tým, nielenže ukradol teraz ten regen, ale ešte tam pozdravil nenápadne XM a nejakými tými iluzečkami mu tam trošičku urobí škrt cez rozpočet. Pupan by the way je priamo na mieste v aréne, už tam dával aj fotečky a dokonca Pupan už dostal aj tu priamo na kanále aj gifted saba, takže už je to akoby pravý cirkusant. Je to tak, je tomu tak. Jednaká gold lead, ale teraz je akoby veľmi dobrý setup podľa mňa, tu akoby príde rovno nejaký nenápadný pokus len to SF-ko, proste fakt ako vyharasovať odtiaľto a dokonca Saxič, ak trafí ten štvrtý stack, tam XM bude mať problém. Ojojojoj, Saxa! Absolutný god sniper. XM môže dodžovať čo len chce, ale Saxič to má ako král. Toto presne potrebovali, aby tam to SF-ko vedbere nepustili možno do tej hry. Zinky to tam síce príde teraz velice pekne zabezpečiť. Obidvaja offlanery si teraz prídu zabezpečiť tú Wisdom runu. Takže ako XP-ky si to tam budú, ale na nejakom tom supportovi to možno bude celku intenzívne chýbať. Teraz ako Zinky, aj keď tam zoberie nejaké free XP, ani ten Day9, tam Thompsonovi teraz úplne nevyšiel, ten má úplne celú tretku, 2 braidbandy a to, čo si pikli tundráci, to vychádza. Oni musia ale vyhrať early laning phase, oni musia ísť do toho midgameu a rúbať. Proste ten Faceless Void potrebuje čas, ten Likan potrebuje čas, aby tam ako niečo začal robiť, aby tam okolo neho možno začalo nejaké poriadne tempo. Jakiro potrebuje poriadne levely, SF-ko tam je akoby extra zraniteľné a tundráci to pôjdu pekne abuzovať. Prichystaný je tu Ame, to kombo nakoniec, ale damageovo chlapci nestačili tam nakoniec, ako nič neurobili, Ame odskočil preč. Day9 nakoniec bude mať za sebou síce tú štvoricu hrdinou, ešte viac menej 5. je ten medvedík, ale nakoniec si Day9 pôjdu už tundráci pekne uhlodať. Ešte Assassin, ešte 5. 5 tam prišli od týmu Tundra a zobrali jeden support kill. Pôjdu tam tlačiť tú tier jednotku, čo by samozrejme s tým medvídkom mohlo byť akoby trochu efektívnejšie, ale medzi tým tam má priestor konečne aj Mr. XM. Saxič tam umrel na neutráli, ten sa možno chcel akoby nechať zabiť, teraz som si ani není istý, čo ho tam teda momentálne zabilo, akurát sa možno chceli akoby čo najrychlejšie resetnúť. Ja neviem, aká šlamastika tam prišla Ame, ale proste tam ustáva s Faceless Voidom tento 4-man rotation. Stále sa nachádza ako tretí v networte a tu prichádza XM, pekne arénou, síce Ramzes to snažil nejak zdržať, ale Razy, guess what, prejdú aj cez arénu. Sinkiu si tu velice rád faktičko teraz dobere kill a celý tento tundrácky early rotation, ten absolútne rozobrali Extreme úplne bez problémov. Tam ako teraz to rozobrali brutálnym spôsobom. Zrazu proste ten Faceless Void za chvíľku bude mať čestku, ustal tam celý ten rotation, Thompson síce môže dohlodávať postupne piu. Pomaly tú tier jednotku, ale pozrite, čo si zobrali Extremovci na vrchu. I tam zostali, zobrali si celú vrchnú väžu. A tým pádom ten trade-off na mide, akoby už majú pekne aspoň zabezpečený. Tá midová je možno trochu dôležitejšia samozrejme, ale well. Thompsonič, aj keď má mega dobrý základ Zinkiu. Už tu dole čaká, vlčky tam zatiaľ akurát Weidmana ohlodali, mohol by tam byť aj Pure, predsa len ako zraniteľný, aj keď s tými bonusovými statmi už to není to, čo to bývalo. Ame tu prišiel dokonca na návštevu s tou time zónou, to bol veľmi nenápadný čínsky gang toto. A máme nakoniec naservíroval akurát free nudle, teda aby sa tam napapal Mr. Pure, vybekoval preč, porelaxoval. Medzi tým tu ale je vidieť, že budú tlačiť ďalej tundráci. Oni vedia, že musia proste ten pressure predsa len dávať, majú tam dokonca už pripravený aj ten agresívny vision. Tam ale boli vidieť, jak sa tam presúvali, takže tu aj podľa mňa Extreme vedia, čo tu bude. Ame vyzerá, že by tam chcel niekde proste tú time zónu využiť a Zinkiu už tu vyčmuchal Weidmana. Velice pekne, pripravil ho tam. Ame čaká vzadu, že by tam možno aspoň nejakého Shadow Demona možno pripravil. Nejaký sniper by samozrejme bol dokonalý, Saxiča tu vidí vzadu. Amen, nakoniec sa pôjde otočiť ešte do Thompsona, dobre, on nakoniec ukradol double damage na pána. Amen, ten si dovoluje, jak zamládí, ale Day9 medzi tým teda vyžere nejakú poriadnu tučnú arénu od Ramzesa. Ten bude mať tentokrát dosť damage spolu s Purom. Ďalšia pekná rotácia, tentokrát konečne zabezpečia teda aj tú vrchnú tier jednotku, tundráci zase budú mať naspäť ten 1K gold lead. Ja osobne si ale myslím, že za 10 minút to není možno úplne enough. Extremovci za mňa s týmto line-upom proste mali dostať oveľa väčší kartáč, keby hrali akoby proti takémuto line-upu povedzme u gladiátorov, tak už by mali podľa mňa tak ako 5000 deficit. Time zone zatiaľ teda ale nemusí Mr. Ameáš vyťahovať. No, s tým double damageom si tam teraz môže predsa len niečo polazitovať, navyše dokonca za 20 goldov už to bude mať aspoň tú základnú madnessku. Ten kill potenciál bude o niečo vyšší. Jo, dole XXS, ale jo, to Likana, nakoniec s dominátorkou by som úplne nepodceňoval. Purik nakoniec si tam rysamoňne toho jeho medvídka, aby tam neodozdal teda bonusové goldy. Jo, tam ale, aj keď prišla teraz pekná raketa, vedia tam teraz o Zinkyuovi. Pure nemá ako s tým medveďom teraz podľa mňa to úplne celé udefovať. A máme ešte prichádza nenápadne tiež do tej time zóny, podľa mňa nemôžu ísť fightiť. Jo, teraz to podľa mňa akoby tá time zóna je oveľa silnejší early game spell. Ako zrovna Chrono, ktoré akoby potom neskôr samozrejme môže byť veľké, ale tu aj tak tá leash mechanika bude fungovať krásne. Jo, uvidíme, kto od Tundrákov bude chcieť urobiť tie Boots of Bearing, ktoré sú veľmi dôležitý timing, aby dokázali možno z tej time zóny akoby pekne ubehnúť. Weidmon našiel tu teraz akurát DY, je tam pripravený aj Thompson, je tam pripravený aj Saxic. Jakiro sa postaral akurát o tú centrinu, no a to je všetko. DY odovzdá život, dáme. Medzi tým sa pekne vyhol akurát tejto spíre, dokonca vyzerá, že by to chcel ešte otočiť do Ramzesa, ale iba mu ho tam ako len tak ako skúsil pozdraviť jedným poriadnym tučným spelíčkom navíc. Jo, každopádne pred 12 minútou toto je fakt ako nová éra doty, jo. Jako Faceless Void s time zónou, jo, SFčko tu pekne je na ten Magic. Jo, Likan síce ide akoby tú starú dobrú dominátorku, ale tá začne mať teraz podľa mňa to poriadne tempo a príde mi, že Tundráci, ten 1K Gold Lead, jo, aj keď majú veľmi dobre rozhoraného Thompsona, tam to majú ako zatiaľ fakt ako ustáte veľmi dobré Extreme. Jo, konečne tam majú teda ako hookshot na Weidmonovi, takže teraz už ako je tam aj ten initiation power. Za 400 goldov je tam konečne na Ramzesovi takisto nejaká pripravená blinka, ale dokonca to SF-ko má už tú blinku. No okej. Ako teraz vidíme hitmapu, ako kde sa teda nachádzal Ame, očividne. By the way, ten ako vyzerá, že ten vrch tú minimapu tam proste absolútne rozhecoval. Ale pozrite na ten ballsy play od Xema, ten robil blinku z prvej. Jo, na tom SF-ku. Žiadny ultra greedy build, ale predsa len teraz bude môcť naskočiť tomu sniperovi na hlavu, môže tam byť ale extrémne zraniteľný proti tomu Clockworkovi. No, Weidmon tu môže fakt ako single-handedly to SF-ko nájsť a proste cez tie baterky už ani ten Requiem nepokásti. Teraz sa tam zbavil akurát tej obsky, dobre, a Meho tam síce prišiel nejak ako nenápadne pozrieť tu, ale bude v problémoch práve Thompson. Dobre to ale Ramzes stihol zastaviť, tá Requiem tam nestihla prísť. Toto prežijú v pohode Tundráci. Ramzes neskutočne zachránil poslednú mikrosekundu Thompsona. Ten by sa rozplynul na ten Requiem, ale Ramzes to stihol neskutočne s tým blinkom. Toto je Ramzesovský pán, ktorý prišiel Extremovcom ukázať nejaké to poriadne tempo. Tentokrát konečne Extremovci dostali tú prvú poriadnu facku. No a vyzerá, že Tundráci môžu začať poriadne tlačiť. No aj keď ako ten early game, povedzme, Extremovci ustali velice pekne tu. Už budú mať problém sa niekde schovať, sú tam hookshoty, sú tam blink arény. A už to poznali instantne. Ja tomu Voidovi to bude trvať minimálne 10 minút, aby sa tu akoby k niečomu poriadne podstatnému teda dostal nejakému jednému, dvomu itemov. Jo, tentokrát ešte k tomu ten Lone Druid, jo, čo tam síce môže nosiť iba tie 3 itemy, už za chvíľku bude mať ten Gleipnir. Jo, včera sme videli u Diráče ešte ten Echo Saber navíc iba s nejakou tretkou a potom tam aj tak beha s 3000 APčkami, pretože tam má tie bonusové staty. Jo, medzi tým sa tu ale Extremovci idú proste natlačiť dole. Jo, tam ako je Roshan teoreticky. Ktorého by tam ako mohli zurvať, ale ten sa bude presúvať predsa len za 30 sekúnd akurát na tú ich vrchnú stranu. Medzi tým Ramzes teda tentokrát nepôjde žiadne veľké aury, rovno potrebuje to BKB čo najskôr, aby tam tie requiemy neboli povedme úplne tak efektívne, aby takisto ani ten Jakiro nič moc neurobil. Jo, Extremovci ale potrebujú podľa mňa teraz ten timing až na tú veľkú dominátorku, pretože tohoto malého creepa presne Thompson ako roztrhá na pár hitov, nakoniec si tu dobre zodpovedne XXS zobral radšej toho malého satyra, len aby neodovzdal goldy enemákom. Jo, už majú predsa len ako teraz ako 4000 gold lead. Je jasné, že ten early game proste Extremovci musia nejakým nenápadným, dobrým, zvoleným fightom urvať. A hlavne musia byť oni tí, ktorí to budú iniciovať. Nás tam videli, akurát myslím, že na chvíľku Weidmona, nakoniec to obídu, ale ten tam má dobrý positioning, aby ich možno našiel. No, nakoniec tam príde otočka práve do neho, ten stihol síce hodiť kogy, dobré, sa zbavil, ale nakoniec tam netrafil Thompsona. Tentokrát tam nebude ani včas úplne pripravená žiadna veľká aréna XM, ale ten Requiem viac menej vyhodil len na zopár damageu. Nikto tam nebol úplne pri ňom, to jedno veľké učko tam bude chýbať, raketa to tam pekne zdrží, ten hookshot tam síce nie je na punish, ale je tu Ramzes s arénou. Ten už sa tam blíži z tej spodnej strany. Ten je tá hlavná iniciačná sila predsa len. No a keď to bude trvať, kým tam bude mať nejaké to BKB, takzvané to Extremeovci skúsili, nevyšlo. No ale takzvané nedáš, dostaneš. Jo, trošku jakoby, sice väčšinou neplatí úplne na Dotu jakoby vždycky, ale možno to bude jakoby špecificky platiť aj tu. Tento Smoke Gang tam nakoniec možno vyčmuchá práve DY samotného. Skúsi ešte vyhodiť aspoň ten Macropire na pána, aby tam depušol Pura. Jo, urobiť čo najväčšiu efektivitu z toho Jakira. Aby tam proste ten mid nemohli tak jednoducho pušovať, nedal to tam teda úplne na tú milý creep waveu, ale tak akoby tých rangeákov sa zbavil, pofarmil, ale tier 2 sa rozpadla. No a toto je presne tá veľká sila tundrákov, oni včera dostali od gladiátorov 2x za 30, keď to spriemerujeme a tentokrát si povedali, že OK, tak ideme to isté urobiť týmu Extreme, oni chcú hrať greedy, chcú hrať SFK, to s nejakými akoby late gameovými faceless voidami, kombinácia ešte s Likanom, čo dokopy ani nedáva zmysel, aj keď Extremeovci akoby tam ustávali proste tých prvých povedzme 13 minút, celku dobre, ale až moc dobre by som povedal, už sa to tu celé začína akoby plne lámať, od toho momentu vedme, jak tam prišiel Blink od Ramzesa, jak je tam hookshot už akoby na tom mistrovi Klokovi. Tam proste tá hra sa bude hrať pre Extremeovcov veľmi ťažko, ty teraz môžu ísť podľa mňa urvať len Roshana, ale to by si podľa mňa tundráci mali ustrážiť. No pre nich možno ten Aegis ani nemusí byť taký veľký problém, ale zrovna proti tomu line-upu, kde je Lycan, kde je SF-ko s minus armorom, tam podľa mňa tundráci teraz možno trošičku akoby podcenili, čo to tu Extremeovci budú robiť, alebo budú počítať s tým, jo, že nech si kľudne toho Roshana zoberú, že to nebude mať zas taký veľký impact. Jo, uvidíme, či si vyberú, či to akoby dať na to midové SF-ko, alebo to dajú AMEmu a bude to AME. Jo, ten bude mať síce až za 5 kg pripravený predsa len tu nejaký akoby tučný Maelstorm, jo, akoby tam možno pôjde rovno skúsiť ten Mjolnir, akoby vyrašovať s tým Aegisom teoreticky pred backupom, aby tam fakt ako mali nejaký damage output, tam ale nemajú chudáci ešte ani dramy pripravené na Zinkyuovi. Pure im tu medzi nimi ide reálne vypušovať aj ich vlastné maminy, tuto len so svojím medvídkom. Tam Zinkyu len vyčkáva, či náhodou nesnajpne možno toho medvídka na low HPčkách, pôjde to skúsiť, pekne! Plus 300 pre Zinkyuo. Nestihol to Pure úplne resummonnúť včas. A Zinkyu zarobil, tým pádom tam má na ceste, myslím, že celé tie dramy, jo. Malý goldík po druhom. Jo, do toho už máme dokonca Shardu, vyrašovanú aj na XXS-ovom Likanovi. Jo, takže tam ako budú tým pádom tí vlčkovia ako minimálne pomáhať s tým split pushom, aby tá mapa vyzerala trošku hrateľnejšie pre Extreme. Jo, je vidieť, že Extremeovci sa hrajú proste aj itemizáciou, sa snažia urobiť čo najväčší. Fakt ako čo najväčší map play. Jo, zastaviť nejak tundrákov v tomto celom. Ale ty proste s tým 6-tisícovým goldidom podľa mňa absolútne ich nesere, že tam máme mať 2 životy. Jakoby podľa mňa tušia, že tam dokonca budú mať nejaké tie enemy stacky, ktoré si tu môžu pofarmiť Ramzes. Tam sa medzi tým približí k tomu BKB, medzi tým tu ale zase bude nájdený chudák DY. S Gleipnírov to skúsil Pure setupnúť a hookshot. Prišiel od Weidmana nádherné. DY sa nebude schovávať. A tu si myslím, že pikovať Jakira, pikovať SF-ko a toto celé do Clockwerka. Toto si myslím, že Weidmanovi vyhovuje úplne plne. Ja, toto je dokonalá Clockwerk hra reálne, ak sa tam akoby na streame teda možno akoby nachádza niekde pán Flavík. Ten musí podľa mňa mať péro jednoznačne na 12 hodinách. Pre 19 minútov tu ale vybere tundráci proste cítia, že ten Aegis absolútne neznamená nič. Pekne sa tam XXS snaží akoby to tu trošku ako vyskautiť vlčkami, tie sú ako celku tlusté predsa len. Ale táto Varda tam teraz nahliadla akurát to pohybujúce sa SF-ko Ramzes. On tu môže ísť naskočiť, ale on to stihol X-em. Reakce Kobry. Extreme Gaming neskutočne. Ešte držia toto celé. Oh boj. No, vrchná tier 2, ale zachránená proste 100% nebude, k tomu im ten Aegis nepomôže, získa im to možno trochu času na to, aby Ame tak jednoducho nemohol umrieť. On potrebuje ale ešte celý litr a Ramzes ho môže vyčmuchať. Ame stihol zase vyskočiť ale na stranu a Ramzes si teraz počká. Ame už nepôjde nikde. Pekne Ramzes zabezpečil tento celý setup. Bude tam ale možno mať ešte follow-up. XM je tam pripravený, aby prišiel Amemu možno pomôcť, tam je ale instant je pripravený Fear od Pura do toho Weidmon a Requiem nespraví nič. XM sa snažil teraz akoby momentálne zachrániť očividne tú situáciu, snaží sa tam dofarmiť aspoň tu Jašukajú, aby toto vedbe nemohlo instantne pokástiť. Jednoznačne ale celú túto hru majú pod kontrolou práve Tundra eSports. Oj. Jo, za 350 dolov by to bal teraz o tu Weidmon, ale dokonale našiel. Jo, len tou raketou tam zistili, kde sa momentálne bude nachádzať. Tento jeden Deep Vision tam ale urobí podľa mňa najväčší pain in the ass a do toho Likana nemajú proste teraz celkovo ten line-up od Extreme vyzerá byť ako absolútna clown fiesta, jo, akože tam musí prísť nejaký úplne big play a jedine sa dostať proste do toho late gameu nejakými zázračnými playmi, jo, pretože tu akoby papierovo, reálne tam ako Pure už teraz má toľko HPček, že bez tej true formy ho nebude ani jednoduché tak bursnúť, ale Extreme to idú skúsiť. Oni vedia, že nesmú spať na Vavrínoch. Oni musia nechať farmiť povedzme AMEho, aby sa dostal k tým itemom, ale inak musia niečo po tej mape porobiť. Vlčkovia, už poriadny Alpha Wolves, tam našli nakoniec teraz Topsona, budú tam aj tie rúty práve od tých vlkov. Pripraví to tam takisto ešte blokom aj Mr. Zinkyu, ale Topson už má rovno posúvačku. Ten sa posunie do bezpečia, Zinkyu bude otočený, Saxič ho tu nachystá, ani tu bounty runu Zinkyu nestihne. A ten Assassinate tam ešte bude letieť aj na samotného XXS a Weidmon. Nakoniec nebude dosť rýchly, aby toho Likana zastavil, ale zase je to len a len účko. Shapeshift na to, aby sa premenil a zdrhol. Jediné, čo Extremovci robia, sa snažia zdržovať, ani im nevychádzajú úplne tie pick-offy na ten jeden target. Už teraz, keď tam akoby našli aj toho snajpera, ani neboli schopní ho plne zabiť. Oni potrebujú, aby už tu teraz, po tej 21. samozrejme ten Faces Void možno niečo poriadne urobil, za to sme tam ho dáme, ho nevideli ani jednu tú time zónu. No a teraz príde ale neskutočne Mr. XM s Razami. Nakoniec tam nestačí ale na Weidmona úplne ten damage, ten si tam pohodí ešte tu jeho ušetrenú salvu, aby bol A-OK. Medzi tým ešte, OK, Pure medzi tým, Pure sa zabil od Tormentra. Pure. Čo tam urobil? OK. Počkaj, tam bola Varda, tam prišla ešte tá raketka. Akoby teda raketka, akoby od nich, akoby, že aby tam majú Vision akurát Extreme, ale čo sa mu tam stalo? Teraz neviem, čo tam Pureovi teraz akoby prebehlo teraz momentálne cez hlavu, možno tam akoby niečo teda nevypočítal úplne plne. Každopádne chcel tam vyfarmiť pre svoj tým Tormentra a teraz to tam pôjde urobiť znova. Teraz ho tam vidia akoby Extremeovci. Tentokrát ale Pure už popuje rovno true formu, dobre, už to chcel urobiť očividne bez true formy, to tak vyzerá. By the way, jeho build. Ja tentokrát to Pure zvládol, ale počkať, tu prišiel medzi tým fight, tam je vypnutý akurát chudák XM spolu s chudákom Zinkyom. No, zase to bola tá arénička, zase teda, aj keď Pure sa postarala aj o to, aby tam vyfarmal ten bonusový shard, už teraz tu svieti proste 11 000 gold lead a viac menej môžeme zabudnúť na to, že Purík je tu trošku clown túto hru. Jeho Ramzes na jeho Marzovi ukazuje, čo je jeho plná kvalita. S tým BKB timingom, teraz mu tam ani Requiem nemá úplne čo urobiť, môže tam byť Jaša Kaja, môže tam byť aj Jaša mama. Ja, môže tam byť aj vaša mama, ale tam po 23. minúte tú Tundráci akoby majú ten pressure nachystaný, aby to takisto dokázali ukončiť podobne, ako to dokážu práve Gaming Gladiátori a podobne. Ale Topson takisto urobil Diffusal Blade a ide rovno urobiť tú speedovačku. Oni idú absolútne vykantrovať s tými veľkými diffuzmi. Jo, proste oni idú vykantrovať totálne celý ten time zone. Oni všetci tam budú mať ten nezastaviteľný speed na to, aby odišli preč. Jo, chýbajú im tam možno k dokonalosti ešte nejaké Boots of Bearing, teda ako zdarma. Každopádne aj na Purovi to tam bude. Oh god, oh god. Jo, pred 24. minútou tu ako Extremeovci musia nejak prežiť ešte proste ďalších kľudne 5 minút, jo. Ten problém je, že toho prvého Rošana síce ukradli, aby to možno nemali animáci, nič im akoby to úplne neposkytlo a tu prichádzajú práve Tundráci na gang, Žinkyu ich tam stretne všetkých. Úplne nazdar chlapci. A tam vyzerá, že Weidmon si ešte letí ďalej, aby tam našiel niečo bonusové, nakoniec to prichystal akurát, myslím, že akurát Vision na to, aby tam videli to SF-ko. Topson sa medzi tým teda postará akurát tuto o snack menom Zinkyu. Veľmi beefy snack, by som povedal. Veľmi kalorický. Každopádne pred 25. minútou, aspoň ten Mjolnir je tam nachystaný, Jame tam má prvú časť toho BKB. Jako tú time zone už by sme samozrejme v 24. minúte ako by chceli vidieť. Takže problém je, že oni už to teraz majú ako vykantrovať, oni už z toho môže Pure jednoducho odbehnúť. Jo, myslím, že Topson to bude mať za malý moment, alebo už to bude mať takisto. A tu ako realisticky. Jo, ako Extremeovci. Tí proste sa môžu len dívať. Jo, ten Requiem je tam vedere absolútne k ničomu, ešte do tých backup. Jo, na vrchu medzi tým tam pôjde teda akoby ten Likan skúsiť splitpušovať, ale celý ten line-up, ten Likan celkovo akoby mal fungovať v tom drafte, že im tam mal dať nejaké, aspoň nejaké idly tempo, aby mali čas farmiť s tými dvomi kórmi a niečo tam občas akoby vychytať. Jo, Extremeovci ale proste no, teraz narazili fakt do line-upu, ktorý ich to nenechá len tak robiť. Ja, tu Tundráci proste sa fakt ako inšpirovali včera tým kartáčom, čo dostali od gaming gladiátorov. Saxič teraz pocíti, čo urobia tieto vlčky alfa wolfovské. Saxič nedostáva úplne malé mordy od nich, ne, že ne, ešte ďalší rútíček tomu. No, len tie vlčky tam dokážu ako urobiť mierny bordel. Ja, už ale tým pádom, že tá time zone ako zatiaľ neprišla za 25 minút a Někoho jo, bude tam akoby buffovat všetko, ta Yashaka je samotná preto len hlavně na ten K-speed, aby tam přišel ten Requiem instantně, je celku nutný jako komponent. Ale on potrebuje prostě XM, teda ještě to BKB, on jako bez něho proti tomu Klokovi tam nevykastí nič, aj tak tam ještě k tomu může přijít ten hookshot. Už je tam ten disperser dvakrát. Jo, ještě tam double damage, dokonce čaká někoho z Tundrákov, to nebudu mať teraz momentálně sice vyskautené, ale tu podľa mňa Tundráci nemusí zastavit pred ničím. Tu nepotrebujú Aegis, tu nepotrebujú nič, Thompson má normálně range požičaný od vašej babičky. Ten strieľa normálně ještě z jej hrobu. Je na hrobku tam stojí na pána a prostě si to tam setupuje, počkat tu, ale dole Saxič setupol niečo iné, je to práve XM a ten stepkom bude totálny free kill. Shinkyu tam vždycky stojí, aby mu skúsil možno zachrániť prdel, teraz sa tam pekne akurát odsnowballuje, skúsi ešte aj odportiť chlapec, bohužel Kogi ho tam nájdu, Ramzes zobere ďalší kill, ešte tam samozrejme nájdu aj ten Vision. Oh, toto je pre Xtreme absolútne smutný opener tejto Game 1. 16-3. Tak ako musím povedať, že Tundráci nielenže im teda možno niečo teda poskytla tá včerajšia rektáž a masáž análov, ktorú dostali viac menej teda od týmu Gaming Gladiátorov. Ja, vyzerá, že no ale sa teda poučili dobre a dokonca si tu ukradli aj nejakých tých poriadnych londruidov, dokonca sa rozhodli, že OK, chlapci, ak sa chceme dostať do nejakej tej ďalšej, čo ja viem, top troječky a ďalej. Jo, tam budú musieť Tundráci hrať aktívnu dotu, žiadne spanie na Vavrínoch. A Extremovcom, aj keď akoby tá minulá séria proti Aurorákom, tam to sedelo proste, jo, ten ich pomalý playstyle, kone, tam sa prispôsobili Aurorákom, ktorí chceli hrať takisto greedy. Ale tuto proti všetkým tým európskym tímom to absolútne Extreme musia otočiť úplne celé naopak. Takto to možno nepôjde, ale uvidíme, či Ame ukáže ešte nejaký zázrak zázrakov. Jo, tu si myslím, že Pura, ktoré o tom s disperzorom ani time zónou vedmenej nemôže úplne spomaliť, budú to tam musieť nejakým requiemom fakt neskutočne vykombiť, ale oni ešte nemajú ani to BKB za 900 goldov. Ame proste nemá goldy, nemá to ani to SF, teraz tam nejaký YOLO play musí prísť akurát na Pura, ten má len 3700 HP. Tu je tá time zóna, ale príde tu disperzor, z ktorého proste odíde preč. Jo, ten jeho medvídek odovzdá 300 goldov, ale to je celé. Po 28 minúte nemôžu Číňania robiť nič. Tam Volček si behá normálne zľava doprava a je úplne no čo teraz? No nakoniec tam teda vyhnali Tundrákov z báze, ale ty sa jednoducho môžu vrátiť kľudne k tomu Rošanovi, ktorý je tam akurát nachystaný na tej vrchnej strane. Jo, tu ako dobré Extremovci zase získali trošičku času a nemuseli ešte napísať GG. Jo, ale neblíži sa tá hra úplne k ním, jo. Nakoniec DY má v 28. minúte prvý item na Jakirovi a vyrašoval Agane. Neviem, čo sa to dá nazvať teda rašovaním, ale vyrašoval to. Jo, jako popravdě jdu úplně all in do bomba komba, oni potřebují prostě dát nějaký time zone, ice pad, requiem, jo, a jo, tak to nějak jako by to dohromady do toho ten makropire Aganimovi by tam jako by mohl dávat damage, ale mezi tím tam samozřejmě padne ještě aj druhá strana, bez problémů. Jo. Tu jako prostě nepojdu zastavit jako chlapci, to Extremovci čakajú, že to prostě bude Tundrákom jako ještě nějakou dobu trvat, tu potrebuje teraz Ame posledné 5 kilo na to BKB, aspoň, aby tam mohli fightiť. Jo, myslím, že XM už má na ceste to BKbo. OK, ten je jako prvý malý čriepok, aby to aspoň mohli skúsiť. Jo, aj keď stále proti tomu 18-000 goldidu Ame sa tu síce teraz schoval dostatočne. Jo, nemá ani goldy na to, aby tam niečo malé predal a mal rovno to backup, on potrebuje proste ešte trošku času. Jo, Boots of Bearing už postavil Weidmon. Nielen, že tam majú dvakrát disperser, oni už majú aj Boots of Bearing, takže tá time zóna reálne, ak tam popne a nájde všetkých 5, oni proste odídu všetci preč. Jo, oh god. Jo, ako možno narazili ako Extremovci a možno sa nechali moc rozmaznať tou sériou s Aurorákmi. Pure už rovno popuje tú true formu, rovno tam so 4600 HPčkami príde, no, tam kľudci budú potrebovať ako dosť zabrať. Ja, už tam teraz Zinkyu to príde skúsiť rovno setupnúť dobre, majú tam makropyru, majú tam veľký damáž, ale tu príde akurát to defenzívne schovanie. Medzi tým Ramzes akurát čaká vzadu Requiem, tam prišiel XM, ale to vôbec akoby nevyzerá, že by to trafil. Tam Purik je viac než OK, XM vzadu padne len tak, Saxič si zobral triple kill. na ten jeho disseminate damage by the way. A už to proste musí prísť GG. Nemôžu Extremovci urobiť nič. Čakali akurát na nejaké to backup, na nejakú tú poriadnu time zónu, ale nakoniec z toho nebude absolútne ani jedno veľké H, ani na konci malé O. Pure sa tu cíti, ale za mňa túto hru dostali Tundráci absolútne zdarma. Ako realisticky. Oni nemôžu Extremovci hrať to, čo fungovalo proti Aurorákom. Oni nemôžu dopustiť, aby proste si tam pikovali nejaký late game draft, ktorý potom neskôr bude mať vombo combo a neskôr Faceless Void urobí veci a to absolútne nefunguje. A sami sa Extremovci budú musieť premeniť na to, aby začali hrať tých prvých 20 minút aj podľa draftu. Takto to proti žiadnemu európskemu týmu proste nepôjde, tu ich ako Tundráci absolútne vypleskali Vejpool. Diva je tu celku ešte usmiatý akoby z tejto hry. A Extremovci aj Ame teraz hovorí, že OK chlapci, poďme hrať rýchlejšie, toto akoby úplne nepúde. No a my samozrejme sa pôjdeme akoby spolu s main panelom pozrieť, aby nám to tu teda na 500 IQ poriadne všetko vysvetlili a aby sme nezmeškali samozrejme nič, aby sme keď tak videli samozrejme tej aréne aj vás všetkých, ktorí tam teoreticky sedíte. A napríklad jeden z nich je prst, ktorý tam priamo, akoby samozrejme, jak je na mieste, tak tam má nejaké tie kódy a záležitosti k nejakým veciam, ktoré si môžete aj redeemnúť a nakoniec sa prstík rozhodol, že vám to tu niekomu pekne bude chcieť venovať. Takže chat, to ešte za tento víkend vás čaká toľko dropov. Aj odo mňa, teraz ešte po novom aj od prstíčka, že to bude krása krás. Poďme sa ale pozrieť rovno ešte na pripomenutie tejto Game 1. Bol to rektál. Na maine akoby si myslím, že prídu tie isté slova. Za mňa ale Ramzes, tam musia zabanovať toho Marza, alebo hrať super proaktív.
And Lycan is definitely not that hero. You need
súhlasím s Lakostem. Likan tam bol úplne stratený, akože čo tam ako robiť. Keď tam má SF-ko a Voida, jo. Tam...
And also SD to set things up. We've seen in the previous series as well how effective it is if you have Yule Scepter on Mars, for example, so you can buy a little bit more time, set up your kills, and other than that, Extreme Gaming.
Tuto s tým disperserom, jak si odbehol preč, proste no.
Is a big reason why Extreme had such a bad showing this game is that Saxa really handled XM. Not only is it not the easiest
sa o ňo postaral jak svinia. Tuto bude ten Requiem, ktorý XM nenačasoval dobre. To ani netrafil nakoniec. Práve myslel, že mu to ako neubralo nič.
Applying extra damage, following him around with the Shadow Poison, getting a solo kill on the enemy SF, making it so that XM is always playing
Saxič a Ramzes sú tí ťahúni reálne, akoby no. Sú.
Because your Tusk isn't making moves with your SF, there's no other plays around the map because this Lycan was picked to shut down Sniper. It was picked to shapeshift and run at Sniper the same way
Extremovci sa musia proste prebudiť. Wash your face, Zinkyu. Trošičku prebudiť. Inak musia byť pripravení na rýchlu dotu. Ame si nezahral dotu. Ja si zahral Lolenko teraz, chudák.
This Chrono Square. So it's a very difficult one. I think
Chrono
they were expecting the big combo because if you are playing for the Chronosphere, you can't use the big Requiem. But yeah, just didn't happen in this one. Way too slow.
Way too slow, and I think here, standout player, Tigov, pure on the lone druid, setting that high pace.
Yeah, setting the high pace, being able to convert on the aggression, and also when they had the net worth, he was so tanky in his true form that when they did throw all the spells, it's like, sure, you might kill a bear, but you're not going to kill the main lone druid, you resummon the bear, and fundamentally, Extreme had no comeback play because Pure was so farmed. And again, I like the fact that Tundra showcased what you can do with like an SD and a clock. We've seen before in previous series, like the double low damage supports, but if you have good positioning, if you can keep people alive, you can reinitiate correctly, then it's all about the cores shining. And yeah, Tundra just nearly flawless game.
Yeah, and a core that's shown definitely very bright, Effie. We have to talk about this because we started the whole panel talking about Sniper and XM versus Thompson, both top-tier snipers. We backed it up with the math and we said XM is the best sniper. I think Thompson also is making a case for himself once more.
I mean, Thompson has made a case for himself on all of the innovative heroes through the mid lane. He's brought so many heroes into the meta. But you know, he made a statement here, said everybody's been praising XM as the best sniper. I've been playing this hero for longer than XM has been playing Dota. Right? He wanted to prove himself here, and he really did. And now that we know that Tundra can first pick the sniper without having to expend a ban on it and beat Extreme Gaming with it, that makes it so that when they approach XM's hero pool, the snipers and the vipers within the draft, you've already taken one out by picking it yourself.
Yep, easy goings. I also wonder what it was like for Tundra during this game. We saw them being very dominant. They were in the lead the majority of this game. It seemed like everything played out perfectly. Do the comms represent that?
Void sand.
Getting wide.
Chill. We too far.
Oh my fucking god.
Nice one.
Thank god we picked ST.
Thank God. Thank God.
Easy, Lacoste.
Pretty easy. This was pretty much game ended at that point, but you know, getting some good laughs out of how they use their abilities. They did go for this one big Hail Mary play in the end. DY sold all of his items, did go for the item scepter on Jakiro. Disruption setup, they try to go for a Requiem, they miss it. GG, go for the next one.
At that point, it was already looking very rough. I think our commentary team, T, said it as well. At the very end, we saw, you know, they had to go for their play with the time zone, and the only one they caught in the time zone and killed was the bear.
Yeah, no, it was despair at that point in the game, and I think for Extreme in this break, they just need to fully shake off that previous game and just, I don't know, I've not seen a team play like that in the opposite style to before. Like that was, it didn't feel like they were in a top 6, top 5, top 4 position. It felt like they were in the group stage still. Like I'm hoping they'll be able to shake that one off because, yeah, if they play like that again, then yeah, this could just be another quick series.
It could be. We saw that the Lycan was taken from Aurora, who was already eliminated, and that didn't work out. So maybe not taking strats from teams that are out is the way to go. We saw Tundra taking the strat from Game of Gladiator with the Lone Druid. That played out fantastically. Before we see what Game 2 will bring us, we're first going to see what Slacks is going to bring us in the stage.
Absolutely, Shiver. Welcome, my friends. It's time for a crowd vibe check yet again. What a fantastic series. Hello, everybody. How are we doing out there in the crowd? Fantastic. We got the front row peeps right here. Now, I heard a little tale here. Who do you want to win this event? Who did you want starting?
Well, I was hoping for Team Spirit, but they're out. Ame and Yatro had their fight. Ame won, so let's go XG.
Okay, the XG fans. Now they are down a game. They need some energy. Of course, we found some XG fans in the audience. What do you guys have to say, huh? How are these guys going to come back, my friend?
I have to say, this game is exactly the same versus Team Spirit. It's got 1 loss, but 2 wins afterwards.
Ah, do we agree? All right, now, Extreme Gaming is back there right now. They can hear you back there, okay? Do you have any words for anyone on the team, sir?
I'm a fan of AME. I like AME for 5 years. I think he always do his best in Dota. He will win next game. As I said in this world, AME will beat Thompson in next 2 games. 小四一定赢!
Yeah, boy! Do you think Tundra stands any chance?
Yeah, I think the first game they lost because they don't have a very good draft. They lost their lane phase. So for the next 2 games, if they can have better draft, I will say they could win.
Seem like you're very knowledgeable. What should they pick? Name 1 hero that you want to see.
What do you say?
1 hero. Who should Extreme Gaming pick?
Sniper!
Sniper! The only sniper fans in the world. Fantastic. All right, do we have any fans of the... one more. All right, these guys are very excited. Hello? Hello. Any words out there for Extreme Gaming?
Yeah, that's me! Woo! Let's go, Extreme Gaming! Woo!
Hell yeah, that's the energy we're looking for! That's my boy! I believe it now! Okay, fantastic. Any Tundra fans dare to follow that one up? Anybody here want Tundra to win? Oh, okay, we got some power boys over here. What is going on here? You're looking great, man.
There's no light, but I like the show, you know. That's the way, you know, airplane.
Yeah, this ain't a rave, dog. You're all right. It's all good. Who are you guys here for?
Gaming.
You
No, I think gaming. Good Dota.
Oh, gaming Dota. Great save. Nobody noticed. Fantastic. All right, Tundra. You want them to win?
Absolutely, Topsen is the man of the North, and I myself coming from Tromsø, Norway. The North remembers, the North will take it a third time. Topsen, let's go!
I would like to do a PSA that there are other people on the team, but the crowd absolutely does love Thompson 100%. Anybody else, any Tundra fans out there? Ah, the boy, hello, hello, hello. Any words for our teams?
First of all,
Oh, wow, that really got a tonal shift there. What are we doing? All right, hit it.
Hyvä Suomi, Topsen. Let's go, Topsen! Let's go, Pure! Let's go, Tundra! Let's go!
You brought us to such a calm place, and then you brought it back up. It's hello.
Can I say something?
I mean, I don't think I have much of a choice. You just walked up, so yeah.
Рамзес, возьми шестой мажор.
Okay, great.
Sorry, International.
Soy International. I don't know what we're referencing here, but I know it's some kind of dank meme, so I'll take it, baby. We like that shit. All right, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, everybody. The crowd seems hyped. We're getting ready for game 2, and we're going to get that thing started real quick. Let's go! What's the plan, baby? Woo!
You cannot top that energy, and I have no idea what was said there at the very end, but we happen to swap someone in that might be able to translate that. Hello, Poppy, welcome to the panel.
Hi.
Is it PG-13 for translation, first of all?
He said take the 6th major, Ramses.
Okay.
I guess he only has 5. I'm not really sure.
Give or take, probably.
Give or take, yeah. I don't know. In the end, he said like, who cares international, I think, in the end. But
Oh, well.
perhaps
I think Ramses would
misunderstood.
care. I think Ramses would care. How are you doing, Poppy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah?
Good
Enjoying,
place, right?
enjoying the level of Dota that's being played?
So far, yeah.
So far, yeah.
I mean, not last game, but, so far.
What did you not like about last game?
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the things that they say even about how to counter sniper, we're confident. We're going to do the same thing that Aurora did to us, that lost against us when they picked Lycan. So it's like, so you want to lose. Maybe that's the plan, but at the same time, yeah. I didn't like their plan, to be fair. Sniper doesn't really care about Lycan, because Sniper has so many ways to get away from Lycan, especially, which is the funny thing, time zone is not working against Sniper. You know, the idea about killing Sniper with a Faceless Void was putting him in place and finishing him there in that same spot. That guy can now run away from time zone with a grenade and then Hurricane Pike out. What is a time zone against the Sniper? I don't even get it. Nothing works in their draft against Sniper.
How would you counter Sniper now? Because this seems to be the pick that everybody's trying to figure out how to deal with this menace.
In my opinion, it's old school regular jumps. Like, in my opinion, if I'd be Extreme Gaming and I'm in this position where I'm going to lose TI if I don't do something very basic and normal where we can understand and play Dota and kind of vibe it out normally, just pick Rubik Centaur, get on the lanes. If we see Sniper, we go for Sniper and we kill Sniper. Instead of being like, okay, you're going to have to start going behind them some wolves, and then you perhaps get that thing going or whatever. It's too many mistakes that can happen. Centaur, jump in, kill, okay, good. It's not like Sniper can attack back. So just at least go with that plan.
Seems like a simple plan to go for. Another simple plan when it comes to Sniper is just ban it, Effie. That might be one of the things that they'll end up going for, although there is a lot to ban.
I mean, they've shown that they can first pick Sniper against XM and beat him with it. They don't need to ban it, and I'm sure they have their own ideas. I like what Peppy said about just get on Sniper with some simple gap close and a stun and kill him. We saw earlier in the Falcon series how effective they were with their Blink DK, with their follow-up from Hoodwink and Mirana. Maybe follow a similar recipe in this game too.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. We're heading into to game number 2, Puppy, here, as there's a lot of pressure. Do you think that the players, like you've been in a situation like that as well, do you think that the players will let that pressure get to them or not? Because most of these players are extremely experienced when it comes to main stage games.
Like Extreme Gaming?
Apart from XM, yes.
Well, in my opinion, anything can happen. It all depends on their vibes. Do they actually believe that they can beat Tundra? kind of comes down to that, let's say. Because I think Tundra has a gajillion strats. They play a lot of things. I think Pure plays a lot of heroes. He's always been kind of like a connoisseur of Dota. I will play Doom carry, Leshrac carry, depending on what carry I want to carry, Pudge. So they have their own, they have Thompson too. Like, come on, they have a lot of probably ideas. They will choose one of them and go with it. But Extreme Gaming, they also have shown some kind of interesting things. They brought in the Klinks carry back in the day, or maybe even right now. Maybe they should do something similar like that, because this Faceless Void seemed very passive. And I don't want to see passive. I want some Extreme Gaming action going on.
Yeah, we saw a very high tempo set here in the first game of the series. Lacoste, I would imagine that that's something that for Extreme is something that they are gonna adjust.
Oh, most definitely. When they lost to Team Liquid in the upper bracket quarterfinals, they kind of lost the same way, and they learned a lot. Then they played against Team Spirit, eliminated it from the TI. Then they played against Aurora, played super fast Dota in that one as well, and now they suddenly stopped. Overcooked. They needed something. They needed some Blink Initiator from the off lane to keep them in place. And it was also super greedy. I think also when it took the wrong turn in terms of draft was when they banned this Dark Willow instead of Mars, because Ramses, this is one of his best heroes right now. And I think you want to put him in a position where he doesn't feel as comfortable.
Agreed for sure, because Ramses, while he has excelled so much this year and improved as an offlane player, he still has a very limited hero pool. And often you'll see teams that go up against Tundra target ban that hero pool, which, you know, in the past it was Darkseer and Mars. Darkseer gets nerfed, now it's Mars, Sand King, sometimes Centaur. We did see a surprise Night Stalker one time, so that has to be in the back of your mind if you're setting up for a Puck or a Storm. But simplify it for yourself by making Tundra's offlane pool smaller.
Simplify it for yourself. Should be doable in the draft. But speaking of that draft, let's get it on your screens.
Tundra Esports versus Extreme Gaming. Game 2.
For the second game, Extreme will be on the Radiant side, and it is Tundra that is dire with first pick, meaning Extreme gets the overall last pick. In terms of bans, Extreme did make it easy for themselves. They did simplify things by simply removing Sniper from the pool. They also do the same to the Naga Siren, the Invoker, and the Marana. Tundra has banned out the Tinker, also the Tusk, meaning that they don't want to first pick it themselves. Meaning also we have some usual suspects still left in the pool. I think the one that comes to mind, Puppy, Sand King. How have you been enjoying seeing Sand King in so many of the games, dominating most of the time?
Yeah, Sand King is a hero that I said is probably the best hero in the game, because the hero has 6 spells. Okay, now 5, but it used to have kind of 6, I felt like, at least when the facets and the innates got added into the game. And it's one of the only heroes that still has 5 spells. I would say so, because the Caustic Finale is very important, and the Stinger is basically an added spell. This hero has 5 spells. The others have 4, but some of them have 5, but they're not as strong as Sand King's right now. So basically, best hero in Dota right now.
The other hero that is going to counter him also has 5 spell with the Mischief on Monkey King, so they're up to something.
That is not comparable. Mischief and
True.
Finale. What are you going to do with that on lane? Sometimes it works out pretty well, but yeah.
50-50. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's what Dota is about. But I do like Monkey as a response to Sand King, because you can follow this hero wherever he goes. We've seen mid Sand Kings having a much stronger presence in the game compared to the offlane Sand King. The biggest flaw for the Sand King always was his laning stage, and now having these extra abilities in the lane makes his lane so much better, and also the facets. So you have Sandstorm, and you can follow, which does follow you, so you can roam around, still get stuff done, even if you don't feel like you need to be in the lane.
Yeah, I will say though, for the Monkey King flex, following the Sand King flex, it's looked a lot more impressive on the mid lane from Monkey King. We saw yesterday in the Liquid versus D9 series that they laned the Monkey King on Watson versus 33 on the Sand King, and the Monkey King did not shut down SK's farm. SK was still farming, because if you pair up this hero with a strong laning support, like a Snapfire, you're not too concerned by the Monkey King.
Not at all, as we're in the second ban phase. We already have Visage removed, and then Tundra took a little bit of time now to think about what other hero they want to remove. It will be Extreme picking out of ban phase, and with the Visage ban, probably aiming to remove some potential offlaners from the pool. Any heroes that come to mind that we don't want to see if you're Tundra? What could they be discussing, you think, Puppy?
I think the meta still revolves around heroes like Omni Knight.
Yeah.
Because Shadow Demon's out, and Omni Knight, I think, is still quite broken of a hero. Perhaps Tundra is just going to pick it, because Sanking is such a weird hero. I think if you pair him with Oracle or Omni Knight, that hero just becomes insane. You can't even kill that thing. It's already pretty hard to kill it, but if it plays in such aggression that you can't deal with it, for Tundra, it's Omni Knight. For Extreme Gaming, it's thinking Omni Knight needs to be banned and maybe picked right now. Basically, I'm kind of like vibing on towards that idea for a little bit.
Yeah, it turns out that the Centaur is for now taken out, but Extreme still as well taking that time. The saving supports the Omni Knight. We saw that ignored in the previous game, mostly because the Tusk and the Shadow Demon both made it through. This time around, not the case, as Wind Ranger is banned for now, and the next pick is Extreme's Lacoste.
There are still Mars available in the pool. I always say whenever we talk about XXS that he's one of the best Mars players when it comes down to being clutch, his blink initiation, something that we didn't see in the previous game, which they were kind of lacking. So would love to see a little bit of adaptation when it comes down to the offlane for Extreme Gaming.
Yeah, Extreme Gaming have done some Zoo heroes from XXS. They've done Enigma before, they've done Visage, and that's when they usually put Zinkyu on his signature Mercy. I think that's why they're valuing this Jakiro so much in this draft, even though the hero itself doesn't feel that strong or that overwhelming, but they want that flexibility in their opener so that if they want to later pick their offlane hero, they can just dump this Jakiro on the safe lane with Monkey King.
I just woke up. Leave me alone.
Yeah. We had a very strong Lone Druid showing in that previous game. Is Lone Druid, was it only good because it was like last pick coming out for Tundra, Puppy, or is that a hero that you feel like should be on the radar?
It's a free lane against Lycan. It's a really free lane. Yeah, so Lone Druid was going to get fat, and Lone Druid's kind of in a meta.
You were doing very well. I'm very proud of you.
The Gleipnir is still very strong. They just needed a hero to kill towers. They wanted to push. They knew that the enemy was playing very slowly. Lone Druid puts pressure on them. I'm not sure if they need to think about Lone Druid right now because all they see is Monkey King and Jakiro. If the fight comes back to them right now, if their draft isn't that passive, Lone Druid probably won't work out that well.
Fair enough. How do you feel about the support duo that Tundra has secured for themselves right now?
Well, to me right now, that looks like Saksa might be playing Enchantress again. Because somebody needs to go to Sanking's lane if the Sanking doesn't go mid. And I'm not sure if they're going to lane Sanking with Clockwork together. They might, but then
you were doing very
there
well.
might be some issues there against Jakiro Monkey King where they start kind of diving on the Sanking. Maybe they can do tree cutting. Oh, sorry, not creep cutting. Not tree cutting. But Saksa has been pretty good with cutting the creeps with 33. They've always strategized stuff. But we'll see.
So they pick the Nyx here to counter Enchantress. A lot of teams think that this hero counters Enchantress because of the way the new Warp Flare works, where you just insta-kill her creeps, but the issue with Enchantress drafts are often they will hit this timing where they 5-man with an aura from their offlane, and Nyx does not like playing into 5-man drafts. So the question of Nyx is, how much can you get done from that early game? How much can you shut down Enchantress and make this pick useful? How early can you get your level 6 and play off of your mid laner? Because if Nyx has a hard time in the early game, it's hard to come back versus a draft like this.
What about the lane, Puppy, for this one? Lone Druid, they know it's going to be laning against Underlord. Is that also as free of the lane as they had in the game 1?
I mean, it's Clockwork Lone Druid against Nyx Assassin Underlord. I'm pretty sure that's a bad lane for Underlord. And I'm feeling like Extreme Gaming are shooting themselves in the foot by just picking a lane, making it obvious. Unless this Underlord goes carry, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. No, it actually does work. It does work.
With the cleave facet?
Yes, it's actually good. They could put Monkey mid, you know. They have still 24 picks, so they have the leverage on finding out something like that. But for now, Tundra seems like they have a more stable way of playing the game. And Nyx Assassin is going to lose his lane if they can find a way to not lose the lane. But come on, it's going to be so hard. You don't want to do this.
And the scary thing about putting Monkey King mid, like you mentioned could happen, is that when you're playing against Enchantress as a Monkey King mid, she rotates on you with her creep, they dive you on your tower, you get your Jingu Slaps up, then boom, you're enchanted. It's dispelled, you have no means of fighting back in that situation.
10 seconds remaining.
Scary times for Extreme Gaming ahead as we are in the second, or the last ban phase rather. We got Nature's Prophet removed on the side of Extreme Gaming, and it is Tundra that is still removing mid laners, assuming that Monkey King has been forced to the safe lane.
I think that's the best place you could put it right now. I think if you were to put it mid, like I mentioned, there's a lot of threats from rotations coming out, not just from Enchantress, but the Clockwork. If you can just get some XM hero to play tempo, maybe you can rotate early on, try to counter some of the aggression coming out of the Sloan Druid early timing. Because like we saw last game, when XM doesn't have a game, Extreme Gaming don't feel comfortable making moves. The second their SF was playing Recovery, they did not operate through any other core player.
And they do have much better tower defense when it comes down to them parking heroes in front of the tower. With this Underlord, they have a little bit of extra global presence. So Nyx Assassin, he goes on a hero, he finds the target, Underlord with his ulti, so you can bring extra heroes, Monkey King, as well a hero who can jump from the trees, he can pretty much be anywhere. So Nyx Assassin, they did go for this like scouting tool in the previous game with Lycan, didn't work out. Now you're gonna have Nyx Assassin, Monkey King setting things up for potential Underlord gate play. So
they might have good tower push to, you know, to decline it and stuff like that, but they can dive them. They can dive them with Ench, they can dive them with Clockwork, they can dive them with a Lone Druid Bear. Like, it's not like you can sit underneath the tower and feel happy.
You know what XM did play yesterday that looked really good, that he busted out on 24? It was his Queen of Pain. He completely popped off on that hero. I wouldn't mind seeing that here, because they need some explosive damage coming out in that early game so they can get these kills. You're not threatened by the Enchantress tower dives or the Clock tower dives in the mid lane. If they don't pick it here, I'll be very surprised.
Queen of Pain, you are completely right. I would want them to pick Queen of Pain here.
Let's see if Tundra can pick something to dissuade them from that. That Sand King could still go either on the mid lane or on the off lane. Both Ramses and Thompson play it. So they might want to pick something against it, and that, if correct me if I'm wrong, would be the Thompson Rubik.
That's mid Rubik for sure. One of the worst matchups in Dota, I would say, is Underlord against Rubik. You're giving him 2 spells with the spell amplification, with his cast range, he becomes a better Rubik. Let's say you're sitting in Cog's Sandstorm, Sanking Stun with the Firestorm on top of it. These heroes are going to disappear.
But it's risky, right? Because you put yourself on an even bigger timer, because your Rubik, later on in the game, he's going to get caught up by the Nyx. Once Monkey King gets on a BKB, jumps him with the +1 from XM, there's no saves on the side of Tundra. Their supports and Ancient Clock can't do much by means of counterplay, so Tundra has to be aggressive, 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 and not ever be on the back foot in this game.
Although Rubik does have magic resistance. And Nyx does deal a lot of magical damage only, besides the right click of the ultimate.
And they'll go for the XM Viper in the end. It is one of his signatures. It's not that Queen of Pain that we talked about. This Viper, how do we feel it fits in, Poppy? Are you happy to see this hero pop up?
No.
No.
But what you gonna do? You gotta fight green with green. You know, you pick Rubik, you answer with Viper.
I think the cool thing about Viper is that you're not really giving away many spells to this Rubik mid, like simplifying the mid lane matchup. Also, in that game I mentioned, ESL Malaysia earlier this year, they did beat Lone Druid with the Viper mid. I mean, Belly Flop got nerfed, so it's not as effective as a tool versus it, but at least they're going to have this very reliable mid laner that isn't going to be playing Recovery the way he was when he was SF.
Yeah, so they counterpick the mid lane, which is going to be a tough one for Rubik. In terms of spell steals, there are some really nice spells to steal throughout the whole game, but I like what Extreme Gaming cooked. It's a draft that can fight much earlier compared to the previous one. They're not so much cooldown dependent as well, and I see a lot of damage on their side. If they're able to execute with the Jinkyu Nyx Assassin, Viper is a slower hero from the mid lane. We don't see him, rotate as much as other mid laners, but I think we're going to go to game 3.
Are you agreeing with that one, Puppy? Are we going to a third game?
I'm not sure, but my heart says Ame, but, Tundra, in my opinion, is going to win this game.
Okay, we're going to find out what's going to happen in the second game of the series. Will it
teda
be a
pozrieme
final one? Will it be
spolu.
another 2-0, or will we head to a third game? We'll find out, but first, some words from the coach.
Thank you very much. I'm joined by Moon Meander of Tundra, where you are in the midst of a lower bracket run right now. but Tundra lower bracket runs this year have been kind of stressful. In Birmingham, you guys got knocked from upper, immediately lost again in lower. Riyadh, you guys got one win in lowers after getting knocked, but still the journey ended quick. So I'm wondering, have those past experiences taught you anything for this TI run now?
Yes, it taught me that you cannot be stubborn in the draft. You're going to understand why you lost, and you just got to pick the meta sometimes.
And Rubik mid is the meta? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
Topson Rubik.
Only if you're Topson.
Which means that in response, Viper mid must be the meta if you're XM, right? So you guys saw that one coming?
Yeah, but XM didn't win 2 TIs.
Hey! Well, let's see if he can manage to make it happen here, or if Topson's journey will continue. Moon.
Pozrieme sa na to pekne spoločne, chat. Ne. Ne. Ono sa to stalo znova. Halasty sú tu znova, chat. To si rojíš prdel, ja to mám zase všetko Really? Ja to zase musím reštartnúť, chat. OK, tak ja nechápem. OK.